Supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With your headlines at 1 minute past 10, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. We'll start with the sad news. Snooker icon John Virgo has died at the age of 79. As a player, Virgo won the UK Championship in 1979, but was probably best known for his work as a broadcaster, a great commentator and a brilliant foil to Jim Davidson on the BBC's Big Break.
Hi JD, how's the old snooker, mate?
Fast and furious.
Yes.
I can't pot the balls fast enough and I'm furious.
On talkSPORT Breakfast, Ali McCoist recalled John Virgo speaking at one of his testimonials.
Gentleman, wicked, as I say, wicked sense of humour, and you could tell all the boys really liked him. Stephen Henry and John Parrott and all the lads. So it's a sore one this morning, mate.
John Virgo was 79. Now, returning to last night's action, Mikel Arteta thinks success for Arsenal in March would help them win more trophies in May.
The fact that you win, that brings confidence, energy, trust at every level. And once you've done it once, it's easier to make it the second one. So today was a hurdle that we have to go through against a really tough opponent, and we deserve to be in Wembley.
Kai Havertz's 97th minute winner saw Arsenal beat Chelsea 4-2 on aggregate to reach the Carabao Cup final. Tonight, Man City take a 2-0 lead into their Carabao Cup second leg at home to Newcastle. That's live on talkSPORT from 7pm. And following the long throw revolution, Michael Owen's predicting a return of the 90s strike partnership.
Somebody will go with two centre forwards soon and start crossing the ball, and all of a sudden people won't know how to handle it because even centre halves have changed. You used to need to be 6'5" and robust to be a centre half. Now no one crosses it, so you don't even have to.
You can watch Michael Owen's interview back in full on the talkSPORT YouTube.
talkSPORT News.
Andrew's been moved out of Windsor early following further Epstein claims, and huge disruption for train passengers in the southeast. Advice is not to travel due to multiple incidents. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Today it's raining tyres in our centres, including top-notch brands like Pirelli. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Cloudy, not as cold as yesterday. Rain confined to northern England, Northern Ireland and Scotland. Drier further south. Southern counties will see some sunny spells.
Good morning, everybody. You're listening to Jim White, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor, and we are live from St James's Park, Newcastle on talkSPORT. So, a Kai Havertz strike sends Arsenal past Chelsea to Wembley. After all the criticism, might 2026 be the year Arteta's project pops? And did Chelsea approach the second leg with an inferiority complex? Meanwhile, is Pep right to deny the checkbook manager claims? Also today, Newcastle Chief Executive David Hopkinson will join us live on the show, as will former Manchester United captain and ex-Newcastle United boss Steve Bruce, who returns to St James's Park for the first time in 5 years. And ahead of the Bet MGM Premier League dart season, the great and the good of the Oki will be stopping by and joining us live on the show. It's Jim White, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor, and we are live on talkSPORT.
100% engagement. Jim White and Simon Jordan on talkSPORT.
Good morning, everybody. Feast your eyes on that behind me here at St James's Park. What a stadium, what a venue. This really is headquarters in the world of football. A magnificent setting for us here this morning. And thanks to our friends at BetMGM who are with us here in studio, we are live from St James's Park ahead of the BetMGM Premier League Darts Opener, which kicks off tomorrow night here in the wonderful city of Newcastle. The darts players are all arriving, and we'll be joined by some of the stars of the hockey later on in the show, and I'm looking forward to that thoroughly. Eddie Howe's men, meantime, go in at the Etihad this evening in the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg, looking to overturn a 2-0 first leg deficit against Pep's Manchester City. Can they do it? Well, Eddie thinks they can, and they'll give it everything. And it's a game you can hear live with us on talkSPORT. Look at that. Not only that, Alex Crook is with me this morning, and so too is Gabby Agbonlahor. Gentlemen, good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
Alex, what a setting. Gabby, I mean, come on. Ooh. What a setting this is.
It looks a lot better from up here. When I played here, I struggled, so found it intimidating stadium to come to.
Did you? Why was that? I mean, if you're watching on YouTube this morning, as I said at the top, feast your eyes on it. It's a magnificent venue, but Gabby tells us he struggled. You never scored at St James's Park, Gabby. Why?
Hit the post. No. Listen, we always struggled here, and I think Aston Villa won a couple of weeks ago was the first win since 2005 in the Premier League at this stadium. Just shows how much Aston Villa struggled here. But wasn't it a couple of years ago where we were talking about Arsenal always struggled when they come here before they ended up winning here? Then the fans are on side here at St James's Park. It's a fortress for them.
Yeah, the Geordies get behind the team. And did that wrong foot you in a few occasions? Did it overawe some of your players?
Yeah, I think just in that sense of when you play at a stadium like this, and for instance, the away fans are so high up above us at the moment, I think, another tier higher.
Yeah.
So you haven't really got that fans getting you on side for the game as well. But this has always been a fortress, and it's strange this season where the results haven't been as good. But I'm sure they'll get that back.
They've still been pretty strong at home, though. It's away from home where they've struggled. Not many teams have come here and won, have they?
That's right, Alex. How do you feel about coming and working here, mate? I mean, what a venue. I love it. I love the supporters. Simon Jordan gives me a hard time for my Newcastle loving, but I make no apology for it. I love coming here.
Yeah, it's a brilliant club. It's a brilliant fan base. And actually, when you get off the train, as we did last night, and you start to walk into the town centre, it's almost like a giant spaceship has crash landed, isn't it, when you start to see St James's Park? And I was here earlier in the season when Arsenal won late on. The atmosphere was absolutely crackling, and it's a cliche, but they are the 12th man, aren't they, the Toon Army?
Totally. Brilliant. We did walk round to the hotel last night. Everybody recognised Gabby. Nobody said boo to Alex or myself. Not true. We got a lovely welcome here in the Northeast, as you might expect. It is great to be here. We'll talk BetMGM. We'll talk the darts later. 3-2 Arsenal got into it, but Chelsea couldn't do it. A stoppage time Kai Havertz strike sent Arsenal past Chelsea to Wembley. I mean, Gabby, after all the criticism, is 2026 the year you think Arteta's project is about to really come good?
100%. I mean, last night, Chelsea, poor in the first half, very defensive formation they had. But even when they brought Palmer on and Gustavo, didn't look like they were going to hurt Arsenal. Arsenal got 20 clean sheets, Jim, in all competitions this season. Shows how good they are defensively, and they can win a game in any way. Finally, when Chelsea decided to have a go, Arsenal go up the other end and score a goal. So I think this season Arsenal definitely win the double, but they could win the treble or the quadruple.
Whoa, now there you go. So from bottlers to nearly men, are we talking about a treble? Are we talking about a quadruple? Do you go with that, Alex? I don't think he's wrong.
No, nor do I. I think they've got this momentum behind them. They had a little wobble of late, but they bounced back with that emphatic win at Leeds at the weekend. Now look around Europe. I look at the Champions League, and I don't see a team to scare Arsenal. Real Madrid are not the force of old. Paris Saint-Germain, once again, have struggled to get into the round of 16. You look at the Italian club, they've gone to Inter already, played a reserve team and beat them in the San Siro. They've beaten Bayern Munich at home. They destroyed Atletico Madrid. And you look at the English contingent. I was at Tottenham at the weekend. Manchester City so poor in the second half, conceding so many goals after half-time. It's a big issue for Pep Guardiola. Liverpool, inconsistent. I think they've got the Premier League sewn up. And I fear they're going to be European champions as well. That's out of fear because their fans are going to be unbearable.
Oh, okay.
We know it, don't we? We've had Piers Morgan on breakfast already this morning.
Yes.
Comes out from behind his rock every time they win a game.
But Jim, Alex, I think Arsenal have to make it count this season because Liverpool are going to get better. Chelsea will get better. Manchester United will get better. So this is the season where Arsenal really have to go and win.
But you know what? You're both focusing on everybody else. You're talking, Alex, about how bad everybody else has been. Why are we not focusing on how good Arsenal have been? Because that's the story.
Defensively,
they're there on merit.
Defensively, they've been exceptional. This is going to
be. What do you mean
defensively? This is going to be a season built on defensive stability.
But they're winning games, Alex.
Yeah, they are, and give them credit for that because there's different ways to win games. We're at St James's Park. I remember the entertainers. You can't call Arsenal the entertainers. It's not thriller-minute football, but they're getting the job done. Yeah,
you will not praise them, will you? You won't come out and say credit to them. They win big games when it matters.
Yes.
They are the best at the moment.
They are.
Yeah, for Arsenal, is it about playing well or winning trophies? Because if they played well and entertaining football and didn't win anything, then I'm sure Crookie would say Arsenal just can't get it over the line.
Yeah, you've got to give them credit. You've got to, as I say, the way they've recovered from those couple of draws and the defeat at home to Manchester United, Leeds on paper, with the form Leeds have been in, looked a tricky game.
Yeah.
They went there and sent out a real statement. And do you know what? I think it just killed Aston Villa and Manchester City that Arsenal did that, thinking we're not going to catch these.
The fact of the matter is, both City and Newcastle want to get where Arsenal got to last night, and that's to a final. Arteta isn't really that bothered, is he? This was him post-match.
Well, it's the best vitamins that we can put in our bodies, because we're playing every 3 days. But the fact that you work so hard to achieve those moments and to have these moments together, it's just magical because you can see the joy, the smiles, the energy in that dressing room and everybody that works at the club. So, looking forward to it.
Okay, but what about Chelsea? Was it an opportunity lost? I think it probably was. I wonder how Chelsea fans felt leaving the Emirates last night when it was almost a case of, my God, we got to go, we're back in this, but it didn't happen. Do you think they're thinking so close but pretty far?
Do you know what? I've been interested by the reaction of Chelsea fans that I've spoken to this morning, that they're not too downbeat about the fact they've lost a semi-final. Well, I think that tells you how far they've fallen as a football club. When you look at where they were under Roman Abramovich, they were in European finals, they were winning Premier League titles. Now, it's almost a shrug of the shoulders that they've lost a semi-final to Arsenal because they're no longer that club that can compete for the biggest prizes. I know they're the world champions, how much stock we put in that glorified friendly tournament in the summer, I think, is open to debate. But when it comes to the crunch this season, they aren't in the same stratosphere as Arsenal, and their fans just seem to accept that.
Do you go with that, Gary? Do you think Chelsea approached that game last night with something of an inferiority complex?
Oh, 100%. They approached that game of, if we go toe-to-toe with Arsenal, we're going to get maybe beat 3 or 4-0. So I understand when you look at man for man, Arsenal are a better side. So Liam Rosenior has thought, let me go with a 5-3-2, it looked like, 5-2-3. But I didn't understand Jim and Alex with Liam Delap on the right. I mean, I could play on the wing because I was quick, but if anyone sort of striker who can't play on the wing is Liam Delap. He looked lost. He got the ball. He tried to take on Hincapié. He lost it every time. Enzo Fernandez was lost on that left-hand side as well. So Chelsea really offered nothing for 60 minutes. And even Cole Palmer coming on, Estavo coming on, didn't really change anything.
Gabby, striker to striker, what's your honest opinion of Liam Delap? I met him not that long ago at the boxing. Fabio Wardley won that night against Parker. He was sitting beside me. Lovely lad, but 2 goals in 21. Yep. This isn't working, is it?
No, I said when he joined Chelsea, I thought Liam Delap should have went to a team like Everton, developed there for a couple of years, and then made the big move to a top 6 side. I think the jump from Ipswich to Chelsea was too much. When I look at him as a striker, I like him. He can hold the ball up well. He's a good finisher. But he just doesn't look sharp enough at the moment for the top level of the Premier League.
Does that signing not sort of highlight the point I was making? Do you think 5 years ago, Chelsea are signing Liam Delap from Ipswich Town? They're going to go out and they're going to get the best in class.
Osimhen, someone like Osimhen would have been the striker that they should have went and got.
Yeah.
But you look at João Pedro's form recently as well. What he done against Napoli, playing as that centre forward, you say he's number 1 choice at the moment. And could this affect Liam Delap's chances of going to the World Cup?
OK, 10:15. We'll head into the break with this here at St James's Park. Paul Merson on Sky last night. On Chelsea, who went out last night, of course, in the semi-final. This is Chelsea Football Club. They've got international football players. They've got World Cup winners. They've got players all over. This is not a bottom 4, bottom 5 team. I'm lost for words. I can't believe what's happened. They've just gone out with an absolute whimper in the semi-final of a big competition. You can't gamble like that. Have a go. Go out in a blaze of glory. Don't go out like that. I'm lost for words. Liam Rossinier wasn't, and he gives us his take on how easy punditry is these days. It's Jim White, Alex Crook, and Gabby Agbonlahor, and we are live at St James's Park, Newcastle, on this pretty chilly Wednesday morning.
Brentford Football Club have called out Gabby Agbonlahor this morning.
Oh, don't get me started, Ali. Honestly, Ali, I've never heard Villa Park so angry. Listen, was the ball 100% out? No one will ever know. No one will ever know. No one will ever know. No one will ever know.
For those of you not watching at this moment in time, I can just exclusively reveal that the ball did look out.
Okay, Ali, you know what? I'm going to give you some info about Brentford, all right?
Now, wait a minute, before we get further. Are you accepting now that the ball might have been out?
I can't really tell. It's camouflaged with the pitch.
It's looking out to me, that's all I'm saying.
I'm colourblind, I can't see, Ali. So, Brentford's G-Tech Stadium only holds 17,250 fans.
Oh, my goodness.
Teams with a bigger capacity. MK Dons, 30,500 in League 2. Notts County, 19,500 in League 2. Bolton Wanderers, 28,700 in League 1. Bradford City, 25,000 League 1. Huddersfield, 24,500 League 1. Port Vale, 19,000 League 1. Plymouth Argyle, 17,440 League 1. Bristol Rugby Stadium, 27,000. Leicester Tigers Rugby Ground, 25,000. Brentford social media Twitter followers, 398,000.
That's good.
Benty has more than...
Good morning, everybody. 20 past 10 this Wednesday morning. Welcome along. We are live from St James's Park, Newcastle. You're listening to Jim White, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. We're live from St James's Park. All thanks to BetMGM, 18 plus, begambleaware.org. We're here for the darts, of course, which gets underway. Stephen Bunting and Luke Humphreys will stop by later on this morning before we go at 1 o'clock. A lot to get through, and I'm delighted to say, even although they are inactive, their chief exec, I'm delighted to say, David Hopkinson is going to stop by and join Alex and myself live on the show. So, Geordies, you're in for a thrill there. And we'll get into all sorts of topics with David about St James's Park, the stadium, about Eddie, and that and a whole bunch more. So join us for that, if you will. Last night, it was Arsenal who progressed to the final at Wembley. I think that's in March the 22nd, isn't it? The Carabao Cup final. But not Chelsea. Chelsea went out, and of course, Liam Rossinier, not long in the job, was ruing over what might have been construed as a missed opportunity. But I mentioned going into the last break about Paul Merson, surprised at Chelsea's tactics, an opportunity missed in Merson's eyes. What did Liam think about that? And on the general topic of punditry?
I've been a pundit. It's easy. Yeah. It's easy in hindsight. In hindsight. So if I go and attack the game, press really high, and we can see 2 goals early, everyone says, what's he doing? That's the reality of my job. The reality of my job is if you lose games, you'll be criticised. If you win, you're a genius. Normally somewhere in between that.
Come on, Gabby. Punditry is easy, is it?
It's difficult when you're working with Crookie. And Sam Matterface on a Friday. It's not easy, I'll tell you that. No, I think he'll regret that comment. You know, he probably doesn't mean it in the way he says it, because we know when you're doing your punditry, you have to do your research, you have to back your opinions as well.
Well, you do, to be fair to you. I've seen you do it.
Yeah, but I just think he's got to listen and maybe take note of what people are saying, because with the players that were available last night, I would have played Sanchez in goal, Gusto right back, Chalobah, Fofana, Cucurella. I would have played a midfield 3 of Santos, Caicedo and Fernandes. And I would have played João Pedro off the left, Delap down the middle, and Estavo on the right-hand side. Palmer comes on at half-time because of his minutes. You have to make sure he's not playing longer than 45. And still with that formation, doesn't mean you have to throw everyone forward. Cucurella's one of the best left-backs in the world. So it's not as if you had to be so defensive. Yeah. That disappointed me in that first half.
What about Wesley Fofana's tears, incidentally, at the end? What does that tell us about him? Was that a strange sight for this competition?
Yeah, a little bit, because again, you know, the old Chelsea certainly wouldn't prioritise the League Cup, and maybe that's a reflection that from within the dressing room they feel this is their best chance of silverware. I know Gabs has got a strong opinion on those tears. You weren't necessarily buying into it.
I think they're crocodile tears. Where's the camera tears they are? Because no offence to the Carabao Cup, but losing the semi-final as they did without putting a fight in, Jim. It's not as if they were hitting the post and there was chances cleared off the line. They didn't lay a glove on Arsenal, so for me, I wasn't having them tears from Fofana.
Crocodile tears, which means you don't think they were genuine tears?
I don't know, not one bit.
Honestly?
Yeah, not one bit.
I mean, do players do that for the cameras?
They must do. I mean, how many times do we see managers play out for the cameras? You don't see Pep Guardiola, now it's not going so well, going to the players and talking to them about what they're doing well in the game, do you?
Is that checkbook manager Pep Guardiola?
But it's true, isn't it? The results have been so poor for Manchester City. You don't see after a game Pep running over and hugging his player and telling them all the tactics of what they should have done in the game. He's looking at the camera, giving the camera an evil look, and then going down the tunnel. So I think they do know where the cameras are.
That Fofana didn't really... There were crocodile tears last night.
I take on board Gabby's point about players playing up for the camera. I've been quite critical of some of those Tottenham players going over and getting involved in a spat with the supporters after they lost at Bournemouth, getting involved in a ruck with Ollie Watkins after full time in that FA Cup defeat. I think, players are acutely aware that the cameras are on them the whole time. So I think a lot of what we see is staged.
Gabby, all in all, what kind of advert was that last night for modern football?
Well, everyone was saying the same thing last night, Jim, once we watched the game, didn't we? That, wow, this is boring. Should we put on St Mirren versus Hearts? Because that was an upset, wasn't it? St Mirren getting a late goal.
I actually heard that conversation where we were.
It was so boring, wasn't it? And I was sitting there thinking, I'm lucky. I'm in a bar watching it. I'm not paying a penny. Those fans that are paid to go and watch that, dross. But then I look at it at a sense from Arsenal of why are we going to open up an attack when we don't need to score? Chelsea, the ones that have got to attack us. once they finally did in the last minute, Arsenal run down the other side of the pitch and score.
I think Arsenal would have been surprised that Chelsea didn't go for the jugular earlier. You could see the game plan from Liam Rossini. It was get through the first hour, then bring on some of those subs, the likes of Palmer and Esteval, and then really try and go and win the game. But they didn't really do that when those players were on the pitch.
But
they didn't put enough balls in the box.
One goal away from a Liam Rossini masterclass.
But they never looked like getting that goal. Listen, they could still be playing now, and they wouldn't score.
What frustrated me, Jim, as well, before Arsenal scored, say 3 minutes to go, on that right-hand side there, passing it. I'm like, cross the ball. What are you doing? Come on, guys. Like you're passing it. You're running out of time. Give it away. Arsenal go down the end and score a goal. So frustrating to watch.
It was another bad night for Alejandro Garnacho as well. And I think he's proving why Manchester United was so willing to let him go at the end of last season.
Yeah. Having said that, and you made the point, Gabby, if Chelsea had gone for it and then quickly are 2 down, tie's over.
Of course.
And you'd be hammering them this morning.
Yeah, 100%. But you didn't have to go all-out attack. The formation that I says and the players, Caicedo and Santos, in the middle, defensive-minded midfielders. Cucurella and Gusto, very good defenders. João Pedro can get back and help out, so can Estavo.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to go for it. But was there a need to play the 5? A very strange formation that Chelsea don't often play.
That's easy for pundits to say, though.
Well, punditry is very easy, Crook. Look at us. We sat here at Newcastle.
He's on
easy
form
job
this morning, Gabby. Terrific stuff. We're live from St James's Park. Let's get in about this morning because let's get you involved. Arsenal, you've got yourselves to a final, and that final's at Wembley at the end of next month. It'll be against either Manchester City or Newcastle United. We're coming to you live from St James's Park, Newcastle this morning. But is 2026 the year that it's all going to come good for you? Are we talking a treble? And I'm being serious. Are we talking a quadruple? Might it come that good for you? Give us a call. Alex is here. Gabby is here. And we'll take your calls here at St James's Park, Newcastle. 03717 223344. But on Chelsea, did the team approach last night, I don't know, with the approach of, well, better not to lose? It's best not to lose. Was that the approach? Because they went out. So what was the point of that? 03717 223344 81089. Live from Newcastle.
I'm up here to try and win a couple of football matches, you know. And if there's a bit of what shall I say, shenanigans going on in the background, I can't do anything about that at this minute. But seriously, when I get an opportunity, I shall try and join the Peace Corps sometime and try and work it out from there.
No, but they are far apart, Martin. And we see it. We see the protests all the time.
Yeah, well, it's not close. It's not close. Yeah. So what would you want me to do, Joe?
He wants you to be a sort of UN delegate. Listen, if you bridge this gap, are you going to build a sense? If you bridge this gap and you chase hearts down,
there you go.
Are you going to build a sense of entitlement in yourself about this job past the end of this season? Are you going to have a little bit about you and push yourself forward and say, "Excuse me, I think this is an opportunity I should be getting"?
Yeah. Right. Well, that's well and truly in the future. I wouldn't know. The chances are that I would not.
Well, you know yourself, don't you? If you chase hearts down and win this league, would you want this job if it was there to be gotten?
Yeah. Would I want the job? you want an answer now?
Yeah,
Probably
I do.
not.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Because I know you
all
would.
right. Yeah, probably not.
You don't want it.
Are you serious, Martin? But probably not.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want it
Yeah.
full time.
Yeah, but listen, lads, you two are young men. There's a difference. You know, you're young men, you're vibrant.
He's not young.
No, he is. But listen, everyone's young comparison to me. So, and I do not. Listen, lads, that's seriously. It's the first time. I think I spoke to my wife there recently. She said, the first time you've worked in your life, and it was it's extraordinary.
But Martin, come on, you'll be 74 in March. I know that, but you're a young 74, and you love what you're doing at the moment.
Do you think so?
Yes. Yes,
Wow.
yes. Well, I've sat in the studio next to you, spiky old sod. Yeah, I know full well that you've got the capability of doing it longer term.
Mikel Arteta thinks success in March would help Arsenal win more trophies in May.
The fact that you win, that brings confidence, energy, trust at every level. And once you've done it once, it's easier to make it the second one. So today was a hurdle that we have to go through against a really tough opponent, and we deserve to be in Wembley.
Kai Havertz's 97th minute winner made it 1-0 on the night, 4-2 on aggregate against Chelsea. Tonight, Man City take a 2-0 lead into their Carabao Cup second leg at home to Newcastle. That's live on talkSPORT from 7 p.m. Now, Arsenal might be in the final and top of the Premier League, playing a particular brand of football, capitalising on long throws and set pieces. But Michael Owen predicts the style of football in England to change even further.
Somebody will go with two centre forwards soon and start crossing the ball, and all of a sudden people won't know how to handle it because even centre halves have changed. You used to need to be 6'5" and robust to be a centre half. Now no one crosses it, so you don't even have to be.
In the Championship, considering a change of management and a transfer embargo, Hull assistant boss Dean Holden says the club are in great shape, sitting third in the table.
We've recruited some really top players, Championship-ready players who've been to the Premier League before. So to be sitting third, I think 9 points inside the playoffs for us, we'd have certainly taken it.
And snooker great John Virgo has died at the age of 79. Virgo, who won the UK Championship in 1979, enjoyed a long and storied career, but was best known for his work as a broadcaster.
Good morning, everybody. Wednesday morning, it's Jim White, it's Alex Crook, and it's Gabby Agbonlahor, and we're coming to you live from St James's Park, Newcastle. Not the best of days, I have to say, a bit of drizzle out there, but what a phenomenal venue it is. And tonight, Newcastle United go into the second leg of their Carabao Cup semi-final tie against Manchester City at the Emirates. Later on this morning, at the Etihad, I should say, not the Emirates. The Emirates was last night. Later on this morning, Newcastle Chief Executive David Hopkinson will be stopping by and will be joining us live on the show. We'll get into all things stadium, Newcastle United, where they're at with the Saudi ownership, etc., etc. And for the first time in 5 years, returning to St James's Park this morning, former manager Steve Bruce. He's going to be joining us live on the show as well. In the meantime, Alex, myself and Gabby are picking over the bones of last night's tie at the Emirates, where Arsenal qualified for the final at the end of next month, and out went Chelsea. On Arsenal, how special a season is this going to turn out to be? Is 2026 going to be the year that it all comes good for Arsenal? Might it be the treble? Might it be the quadruple? Might it be none of these things? We're asking you to call in, and you're calling in big numbers, and I'm thrilled about that. Alex is here, and so too is Gabby. 03717223344. Dave, big Arsenal fan. Dave, good morning. How special might this season end up being for you?
Morning, gents. How you doing?
Good, yeah, thank you, mate.
Good. It's very, very early to be. You've got to get over the line on one, haven't you? I think that last night I was quite surprised at Chelsea, but I was also surprised at Arteta. We set up not to lose rather than to go and win the game, although we did at the end, but we all know why that was. I think that they need to get over the line, and it needs to be one big one. It can't be the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup on, they're not going to quell the people, the critics. I think it has to be either the Champions League or the league. And let's be honest, we've been given every chance to win that league. We should be running away with it by now. I mean, the others have fallen by the wayside around us, and yet they're all still in it. So I think it's a case of getting over the line and in one of them, and hopefully that then gives you that mentality to think, hang on, here we are. And I'm not dismissing
Dave, I'm listening to you. I mean, Alex is going to come in, and so too is Gabby, but I sense a bit of anxiety still in your voice.
Well, they're always going to be in there. Well, listen, we've done a Devon Lock on. There's one for the kids. I bet we've done a Devon Lock for 3 years running. You're going to have to explain it, aren't you?
Yeah.
But for 3 years
that was
running,
going flat out in the home straight. Yeah.
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 And that is why there is that little bit of anxiety. It's that bit of unknown, isn't it? None of this squad, I don't believe, other than Havertz at Chelsea, I believe, Jesus at Man City, but the other players that have come in, they haven't been across the line, and so of course there's that.
Dave, how would you compare this Arsenal team to the Arsenal team that came from miles back to win their first title under Arsene Wenger? How would you compare it to the Invincibles? You know, the Robert Pires and the Thierry Henrys and the Dennis Bergkamps. Do you enjoy watching this team as much as you enjoyed?
No,
those.
This is very very matter of fact. This team is very
boring.
I can't think of the word. Yeah, I won't say. Listen, winning. If winning's boring, great, but it's not. Let's be honest. It's not exciting. Do you remember the quote when we played up at Leeds and the commentator shouted, "And here comes the Arsenal sprint relay team." And they broke with, with Henry, Pires, all those. This doesn't compare. It won't compare until you can't compare. It's like the Man United side now. You can't compare until they've done something to compare it with. That just.
Dave, I love it. Listen, mate, I loved your call. Even for the mention alone of Devon Lock, I loved your call. Thanks so much. Dan's a big Arsenal fan. Dan, good morning.
Good morning, Dan.
Do you share this sense of anxiety, or are you thinking something special is on here, Dan?
Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Gabby. Good morning, Crookie. I just think the last 6 years, this has all been coming. You know, Arteta's been building the team. We've been so close. And I just think that it's written in the stars, really. I don't think we're going to win the quadruple. I really, really don't. But I think we win the League Cup, and that's going to propel us to win the Prem and the Champions League. I really do.
But you think it's been coming? It's been coming, Gabby.
It's definitely been coming, Jim. 100%. My two best mates are massive United fans, and our WhatsApp group just goes absolutely crazy every midweek and every weekend. And I'm sick and tired of them, ribbing me and ribbing Arsenal fans all the time. Where we're playing some fantastic football. It doesn't matter how we win, as long as we win. And we're getting the job done. And as long as we get over the line, I think first with the League Cup, that's going to propel us to win the league and the Champions League. I really do.
Dan, and you have to also, as Arsenal fans, realise that you should really be winning the big trophies with the squad that you've got. Last night, no Saka, no Odegaard. No one's talking about it pre-game because of the options that you've got. No Gabriel Jesus off the bench. Havertz comes off first. Mosquera on the bench. Luis Skelly and Calafiori, who probably start in a lot of Premier League teams, on the bench. So Arsenal should be winning the big trophies with the squad that they've got. The best squad in Europe for me.
I totally agree, Gab, and I think it just shows you this season, the players we've got 2 or 3 world-class players in every single position, whereas, the last few years we haven't had that. Saka gets injured, Saliba gets injured, struggle, and, Arsenal always get branded the bottle jobs. I don't think we're bottle jobs. I just think when our major players like Saka, like Saliba, like Gabriel get injured and they're out for 2, 3, 4 months, then it's it's going to affect the team and it's going to affect the way that we're going to play. And
Dan, do you want to sit your neck out before you go? What's the minimum you'll win this season?
Oh, here we go. You sound just like my two best United mates.
On you go, mate. Do it for me.
I think we win the League Cup, then that's going to propel us to win the Premier League and the Champions League. I really do.
Oof. Wow. A nice little treble, 3 of the 4. Dan, thank you very much indeed. Where have all the Chelsea fans gone? I have no idea this morning. We're going to hear from another Arsenal fan, Keith. I know Keith. I think I know Keith. Do I know you, Keith? Yeah. Keith?
Yeah, you know me. You know what? I get a bit annoyed by 1 week you're all cock-a-hooch saying they're going to win the quadruple. The other week you're saying how bad they are and how negative they are. It's just media hype. Look, when you say they should be winning with this squad, well, so should Chelsea. They spent $1.5 billion. So should Liverpool. They spent $450 million in the summer.
He's right, isn't he? He's right. He's right.
It is a nonsense.
I'm looking at the quality, though, that you've got.
Look, what I want as an Arsenal fan, let me tell you, listen, I'm an Arsenal fan, and what I want to see is my team compete.
And Odegaard fighting for a position. You've got Gyökeres, Gabriel Jesus, and Havertz fighting for a position. You've got Martinelli and Trossard, Madueke and Saka, Mosquera and Hikapié fighting for centre-half positions for Saliba and Gabriel. Luis Skelly can't get any game time. You have to send Ranieri on loan because he can't get in the matchday squad. Come on, you should be winning the big trophies.
Come on, Keith. You don't have Simon Jordan to joust with this morning.
Should is a nonsense. Other teams have spent a lot of money. To say should, what they are doing is what every fan wants their team to do when they spend money on season tickets and through the turnstiles and on Sky.
Yeah.
And that's to see their team.
Yeah, but Keith, this has been 6 years in the making, mate, hasn't it? This is what you've witnessed after 6 years in the making.
And you know what it shows, Jim? I've always loved the fact that Arsenal have not been a hire and fire club. Now, maybe Arsene Wenger outstayed his welcome, but they probably got rid of Emery a bit too soon, but he played the wrong tactics at the wrong time, and or maybe the right tactics at the wrong time. And look, there was a few seasons ago, we lost the first 3 games of the season, and people were saying, well, is Arteta going to go? You have to show patience. All these hire and fire merchants like Tottenham and Man United, you can see where that gets you. We are competing. We are in the final of the Carabao Cup. We are top of the league. We won the Champions League. We were top of the Champions League. We're in the FA Cup. That is what all fans want. You want to be competitive until the end of the season, and we're there.
Keith, before you go, I did it with the last caller. Dan, let's do it with you. What do you think the minimum is going to be? Do you want to sit your neck out?
Sorry, you're talking to me?
I called you Keith. What do you think the minimum is that you may end up winning, Keith? And that's you.
Well, look, I don't even say the Carling Cup the Carabao Cup is a guarantee. At the end of the day, we could be playing Man City in the final. Well, they're no pushovers, are they?
You've got to win the league from here. 6 points clear. City floundering, Villa floundering. You've got to at least win the league from
Keith,
here.
Alex Crook ended up answering the question that you wouldn't answer, but thanks. And Keith, always great to hear from you. A final caller, and I think speaking on behalf of Chelsea fans worldwide, is Ed. Ed, good morning. What was your take on last night? Was it an opportunity lost?
I mean, it was an opportunity lost. I had a very good night myself in the away end. I can't really speak for the home fans. I didn't hear a thing all night. Actually, no, that's a lie. I heard them cheering.
You won the sing-off. Is that what you're saying?
That's a new one in football for me. Cheering corners is I'd never heard it until I went to the Emirates. But there we go.
Okay. Listen, Ed, thank you so much for taking the time to call us. That was all about last night. And, of course, tonight it's the second semi-final, second leg. And, of course, here at Newcastle United, it's all quiet here because the Newcastle travelling support will head to Manchester for the second leg. 2 down from the first leg against Pep's Manchester City. But what is the belief? Well, if I know Newcastle fans, they will go there with a spring in their step. And I'm delighted to tell you that in this part of the world this morning, we're going a bit Newcastle-centric. And the Newcastle United Chief Executive, David Hopkinson, is about to join us live on the show.
just had a conversation with Cundy, which I find completely remarkable, and I'd like you to tell the nation because I want to know if other people have witnessed this.
So, I don't do it anymore because the barbers I go to now have this little white thing they put around my neck and they tuck it around the shawl that you wear when you sit down.
Yes, I know what you mean.
But I used to, and this is going on for like 10, 15 years, I'd go into the barbers I'd go into and I would take my T-shirt off and he would cut my hair with a bare...
So you'd sit in a barber shop with your shirt off?
My shirt off, but
so just your chest out?
No, because no. Because what I don't want is I don't want the hair touching my T-shirt that comes off, right? So hair on the T-shirt, forget that, or shirt, whatever you wear. So now I don't need to do it because the guy puts this thing round and then he tucks it around the shawl.
Yeah, I know what that is, mate.
Right.
Everyone goes to a barber shop.
Right, I know, but the barber shop before didn't do that. And I used to think, so I take my T-shirt off, sit in the barber's chair, and then he would put round the shawl that everyone's got and tuck it round my back. I can't have hair on my T-shirt. So it's an absolute no-no.
So you sat in a barber shop with your top off and a shawl over you?
Yes.
Well, you're such a weird guy.
I don't think that's weird.
It's so weird.
I don't think it is.
Do you mean you just sat there in a barber shop? No one does that.
I do. I guarantee that people listening, they're going, I know what Cundy's on about there.
I've been in a barber shop for 25 years.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone with their top off having their haircut.
Well, you didn't go to the barber shop. I did. You walked in with me. You'd have seen it.
There is something wrong with you, honestly.
It's true. I guarantee the people going, I know what Cundy's on about. Don't like that hair on the... Once the hair gets on the T-shirt, there's no...
No, I get the hair on the T-shirt.
It's irreversible.
No, I get that.
Right, okay.
Just go home and change your T-shirt.
Well, what if you're not going home? All day you're going... God.
Good morning once again, everybody. Coming up to 10 to 11 this Wednesday morning. It's Jim White live in talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com. Alex Crook is alongside me here at St James's Park, Newcastle, and with us Gabby Agbonlahor. Former Newcastle United manager Steve Bruce is going to stop by as well. The first time Steve has been back here in 5 long years. Looking forward to speaking to him. But of course, Arsenal through to the Carabao Cup final. They got through last night. They won on aggregate over Chelsea. Tonight, it's all about Manchester City and Newcastle. Manchester City 2 up from the first leg. Home advantage tonight, but Newcastle United, as I said, going into the last break, will go with a spring in their step. Newcastle United, of course, the fans always travel, and they'll travel there in numbers tonight. I'm delighted to welcome to the show live this morning, alongside Alex and Gabby, the Chief Executive of Newcastle United, David Hopkinson, joins us live. David, good morning to you.
Morning. Good morning. Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm thrilled that you're doing this because you've got a packed day and a match tonight. But I'm also thrilled because it gives us a chance to explain how you got here and where you came from. For those who don't know, and I didn't, David, before he came here, served as president and chief executive at Madison Square Garden Sports in the US, where he led the business operations of the New York Knicks and the New York Rangers. As well as all that, He was global head of partnerships at Real Madrid. He served on the executive team as they cemented their place as one of the world's most valuable football clubs. So I get the impression, Newcastle United fans, that Real Madrid's loss is your gain. 5 months since you joined the football club, David, how do you reflect on what you've seen so far and the club's current position thus far?
Well, I'm thrilled to be here. You know, you're right. It's 5 months tomorrow, so I'm still the new guy. And if I get in trouble in any of the questions today, I will remind you that I'm the new guy. But I'm thrilled to be here. This is an extraordinary community, an incredible club, and it's a privilege.
And you came from American sport and Real Madrid, as I said in the introduction. So why Newcastle?
Well, when I was in New York thinking about what I might do next, I was there for 5 years in New York City. You know, I really missed football. There's so much I love about American sports, and you know, they're incredible. But they also are American. They, you know, the interest in those sports, hockey, basketball, really a lot of that interest drops off at the oceans, right, on the East and West Coast. But football's global. So I adored my time in global football at Madrid, missed it really badly. And when I was thinking about what I wanted to do next, it was to find the right opportunity in global football, and I became convinced that Newcastle was the right place for me.
It's a special club, isn't it? I mean, already, what have you discovered that makes Newcastle United? To me, it's really special. I love the fans. I love the history of it. What does it mean to you?
This is a club with such incredible heritage that is, you know, beloved by the community.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, the way that shows up is so incredible. People have been incredible with me since I got here. It's just so warm, so welcoming. But their first questions, so, you know, how's the club? How's everything? You know, and it's not just the sports fans. It is bigger than sport here. It is really, you know, symbiotic with the community, and that integration that matters so much. You know, I'm coming out of New York, as you said, where I think there's 14 local major teams.
Yeah.
Right. And I was running the Knicks and the Rangers, and you've got the Mets and the Yankees and the Nets and the Giants and the Jets. And, you know, that's amazing. But in Newcastle, it's Newcastle United.
So, David, so much for the Newcastle loving, and I was part of it. I admit it. Simon Jordan will be listening. He'll be on to me about that. What is the biggest challenge that you face? Is it PSR?
Well, let's go one level higher. It's revenue. This is the revenue business. And the Premier League and global football is a business that is fought and won on the pitch, but behind that, it's the boardroom and how much you can spend on your squad. And yes, PSR or FSR or incoming SCR are constraints that limit what we can do in terms of acquisition of talent. And the way to help ourselves is to help ourselves. That means more revenue.
We were coming into this today on the back of a transfer window. There was a lot of frustration amongst Newcastle fans that you weren't particularly active in that window in terms of incomings. We had Stefan Borson, a financial expert, with us in the studio on deadline day, and he was suggesting that rather than it be due to PSR constraints, maybe it's because the owners are not as invested as they once were. I take it you were pushed back on that.
Well, I would. You know, look, I think we should differentiate between active and what results we produced. So I will tell you, this was an extraordinary transfer window in terms of activity. And we've got an amazing sporting director here in Ross Wilson. Let me tell you something. He's been my first call in the morning and my last call at night every day this month. And the activity has been incredibly, incredibly high. We didn't find the right opportunity for an acquisition. We didn't make one, but we had the room to do so. We had the support to do so if we found the right addition that would have made sense. But what makes sense for us had a bunch of different facets to it, including making sure that we don't do anything that, you know, might compromise what we want to do this summer.
And what about the owners? Are they still ambitious? Do they still want Newcastle one day, in your words, to be one of the top clubs in the world? I think you said by 2030.
Yeah, Alex, the number one thing I talk to about ownership with is ambition. That's the magic word here, making sure that we've got the correct ambition and we have total alignment on that. This is a club that by 2030 will be consistently contending for the top prizes in global football. We've got a lot of wood to chop between here and there.
How are you going to do that, David? I was going to ask you that. What makes you so confident?
When I think about Newcastle United, everywhere I look, I see opportunity. And, if I roll the tape back in my career, when I went to Madison Square Garden, it was a strange period, actually, because it was, COVID was in full flight. I think my first day at MSG was October of 2020. So, COVID was in full step. And their revenues were a bit depressed. They were about $400 million at the time. When I left, revenues were over $1 billion. So even at a place as sophisticated as Madison Square Garden, I thought there was lots of headroom and lots of opportunity, and we managed to unlock all of that. And MSG Sports, that's a public company. That's traded on the New York Stock Exchange, so all of that data is public, and you can see the trajectory. When I look at Newcastle United, I see as big an opportunity set or bigger, and it's my job to help the club unlock that and deliver that. My job is to get the bigger bag, make sure that along with Ross, we are investing that larger bag appropriately and giving Eddie the best opportunity he can to win on the pitch.
Well, when we look at the rules that Newcastle face, or the clubs in the Premier League face, that maybe haven't got the fan base that maybe Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United have across the world, in Asia, in Africa, in United States of America, how tough is it to try and get Newcastle bigger as a brand in those countries to bring in more revenues?
Well, when you look at some of those leaders in global sport, they didn't get there by accident. They got there with deliberation and intentionality. They went out and got it, opening Asian offices. And, if I look at the digital audience Manchester United has, it's extraordinary. If I look at the digital audience Real Madrid has, my former club, they're over $1 billion. Now, I could walk down the hall from where I sat at Real Madrid and find the 40 people that were working in digital there, doing it in 7 or 8 languages, doing it in different time zones, serving custom content into different regions. They did it. They grew that audience with high intentionality. Today, we're not well positioned to do that. That's an opportunity to close that gap. So digital growth, you're 100% right, Gabby. That is a major, major opportunity for us. And that's, some of those opportunities we've got to unlock here.
Just before we hit the break at 11 o'clock, David, PSR still exists. Do you think it's fit for purpose?
Well, rather than opine on it, first I can tell you it's going away, and it will be replaced with SCR. I believe it's from July 1st. I definitely know it's from next season. We were one of the clubs that voted for SCR. SCR is a regime that we prefer.
But that's still a form of restriction, isn't it?
Well, it's the rules. And I think the rules are an operating environment and an environmental condition, kind of like, hey, it might rain tonight. We'll figure that out. And while those rules are perhaps hard on Newcastle, they're hard on a multitude of clubs. Everybody's got to deal with the same set of rules. I'm coming from leagues where they had, let's say the NHL, a hard cap. The rules are the rules, and we'll do the best we can to help ourselves within whatever regime exists.
Does it not just keep the top of the Premier League a closed shop, though? Does it not make it impossible for clubs like Aston Villa and Newcastle to smash through that glass ceiling?
I think it makes it hard and a challenge, but it's my job to kick our way into that conversation. And look, I'm enthused to be here. I get out of bed each day, including today, with enthusiasm to jump out of bed, put my feet on the floor, and try and kick our way into that conversation. I think that's fun. I think that's exciting.
You're trying to get to the Carabao Cup final tonight, David. I was at the Carabao Cup final a couple of seasons back when Newcastle United were there and lost to Manchester United. And afterwards, Amanda Staveley, who's no longer at the football club, said, well, we've lost today, but one day we'll win the Carabao Cup, and we will win the FA Cup, and we will win the Premier League, and we will win the Champions League. You share that view?
Absolutely. And what I love about what she said, and by the way, some of that has already come true of what she predicted. We've got more to do on it. So look, I think it starts with belief that we have to have high conviction that we can do this. And so much of what we need to accomplish here, so much of what I talk about with my staff, with the rest of the leadership team, is the right culture that is aligned to that high ambition.
David, terrific. More from David, the other side of the 11 o'clock bulletin. All of a sudden, it's 11 o'clock. Where did that hour go? We're live from St James's Park, Newcastle. Back in 2024, when asked if Tottenham had fallen behind their top 6 rivals, Romero told Telemundo Deportes, maybe he thought that we wouldn't get to hear it, but we did hear it. He says, the truth is, Manchester City competes every year. You see how Liverpool strengthens its squad, Chelsea strengthened their squad. And then I think he puts himself in the situation in Tottenham. Those are the things to imitate. You have to realise that something's going wrong. Hopefully they realise it. Well, he's talking about the hierarchy, isn't he, Simon?
Well, he's comparing Tottenham to legacy football clubs and football clubs that are owned by nation states. So there's no real comparison there. But he's wanting to make a point. There's nothing wrong with what he said there. It's whether he should say these sort of things. He said it more recently when he bottled the perspective of flapping his gums about people telling lies and then withdrew that particular statement. Say something, stick with it. It makes life difficult for Thomas Frank because people above him are going to say, do you have control over your players?
Yeah.
Not so much what the players think of the manager, but the manager, what the people above Thomas Frank think of his control over the players.
Yeah.
And
do you think he does?
Well, I think this guy's uncontrollable. I think he does what he wants. I think he thinks he's bigger than Tottenham Hotspur. I think he's bigger than his football club. And we've seen it previously a couple of times in the past where he's a very good player, don't get me wrong. I like him as a footballer. I don't think he's set the world on fire. He's made a few headlines recently because he scored a few goals and he looks like Captain Invincible. When it comes to his defensive prowess, I think he's left a lot to be desired at times.
I agree.
But I also look at it and say that, this is the culture that's being allowed to be seeded in this club. With respect to this player, and it's easy to be said, if I was senior manager at this club, he would have got one opportunity to say this. He said it 2-3 weeks ago, where he talked about people telling lies and only coming up when it suits them. That would have been his starter for...
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With your headlines at 11:03, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Sean Murphy's paid tribute to John Virgo, saying the voice of snooker will be sadly missed. Virgo was UK champion in 1979, but was best known for his work as a broadcaster and that iconic catchphrase.
Where's the cue ball going? Foul. Oh, marks out before. That could be the end.
John Virgo was 79. Returning to the football, Alan Brazil's not happy with Celtic interim Martin O'Neill, saying he probably doesn't want to stay on next season. Ali McCoy says O'Neill's just being honest.
Even if they do win it, I think he would think it'd be the perfect time to ride off into the sunset because he's not 50 anymore.
Make that decision then, not now.
He's not 50
There's a lot to play for. Don't make that decision now.
Celtic could cut Hearts' Premiership lead to 3 points with a win at Aberdeen tonight. Rugby World Cup winner Jason Robinson's told talkSPORT England are well placed to win a first Six Nations in 6 years.
Arundel's on the wing, Faye Waboso, Freeman's in the centre. These guys have got pace. And I think if England are going to win this championship, we have to play a bit.
France won last year's tournament thanks to bonus point victories. They kick off against Ireland in Paris tomorrow. And Brendan McCullum is sick of answering questions about Harry Brooks' off-field behaviour. The England coach is backing his captain to come through a difficult time.
Cricket has a poor history of people suffering with the pressures of international cricket and being away. And we've had mental health is difficult for a lot of people in this game.
Brooke was fined by the ECB for an altercation with a nightclub bouncer ahead of the Ashes. There's loads more content on this month's T20 World Cup over at the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube page.
talkSPORT News.
The Prime Minister says he'll release files on how Peter Mandelson got the US ambassador job. And police say a very serious incident has happened at De Montfort University campus in Leicester. Sinead has more at 5:30.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Whatever the winter weather, Bridgestone Turanza all-season 6 tyres. Guaranteed for 25,000 miles. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Cloudy, not as cold as yesterday. Rain in northern England, Northern Ireland and Scotland. Dry further south. Southern counties will see some sunny spells.
Good morning, everybody. Wednesday morning, but no ordinary Wednesday morning. 6 minutes past 11 o'clock. We're coming to you live from St James's Park, Newcastle. It's Jim White, it's Gabby Agbonlahor, and it's Alex Crook, and we are live on talkSPORT. We're also live on YouTube and your TV. Wherever you want to watch the show, you can watch it live. And we are thrilled, let me tell you, thrilled with the numbers who are watching this show on a daily basis. Normally myself and Simon Jordan. Alex Crook joins us this morning. No Simon, he's back at base interviewing, as I understand it, Derek Chisora and Deontay Wilder. Good luck with that, Simon. But this morning, Alex, myself and Gabby live from Newcastle. Newcastle go into the second leg of their Carabao Cup semi-final tonight at the Etihad against Pep's Manchester City. It's live on talkSPORT. A bit of work to do, but the man who has joined us live this morning says, a bit of work or not, he feels it's still doable. The recently appointed Chief Executive at Newcastle United, David Hopkinson, is with us live on the show. Just before we came back on live there, Steve Bruce, one-time manager of this great football club, came stopping by and invaded us and said, good morning, everybody. Didn't you, Brucey? Good morning to you. We'll be speaking to you soon. David, great to have you still with us on the show this morning. You do believe this is doable tonight? Of course you do.
Of course I do. We have to. Look, they got us here 2-0. We'll go down there, do the same thing, winning kicks, and on we go. We'll see Arsenal in the final.
How'd you like that? Listen, you said earlier it's about building revenue here at this great club. It's about competing with the very best. What does that mean in terms of redevelopment of this great stadium? What's going to happen here with St James's Park?
Well, the truth is we haven't decided. St. James is a magical place. It's going to be an extraordinary place here Saturday when we play our next match. It's 53,000. We think we could be bigger. And that, of course, is revenue. Now, that's a major investment. We haven't made the final decision on what we're going to do here. We are working on this every day, deciding whether it's here, whether it's a new site, whether it's a reno or a new stadium. But we have got an opportunity that we're pursuing, and we're working on it every day.
If you stay here, David, and I want to push you on this, everybody loves this place. How much bigger could it become? How many more seats do you envisage you could put in?
At least 10,000. We all of our modeling, all of our best modeling today, all the capacity starts in the 65 to 68,000 range. I don't think bigger than that is good, but we also want to make sure if we're going to do something, it's material and significant. 10 to 15,000 here would be right.
Would you contemplate moving?
I think a new stadium is something we're considering, but not really moving that far. We don't want to be in some farmer's field out in the middle of nowhere. One of the things that makes Newcastle so special, such a special place, is its St. James Park. Right here in the center of town makes sense. And everywhere that I've worked, I've had the privilege of having that arena or that stadium right in the middle of town. It matters where the new Estadio Bernabeu is, or the renovated, Estadio Bernabeu in Madrid, right there on Castellana, Madison Square Garden on 7th Avenue in the heart of Manhattan. Yep. Location matters.
But let me get this straight. You need to do something, don't you, in terms of driving revenue, increasing revenue. You need to do something with this place.
We do. Look, doing nothing is always an option. I don't think it's the most intelligent option. And, we've got the support from ownership to be looking at what the best way forward is. And we haven't decided that yet.
Talk to us about your manager, Eddie Howe, the man who ended that long domestic trophy drought. We're in a World Cup year. Thomas Tuchel only has a contract with England until after the World Cup. If they're going to go English, the FA, in my opinion, there's only one man for the job. How concerned are you going to get that call come the summer?
Well, look, I will talk about Eddie. Eddie's been a phenomenal partner to me since the day I met him. He certainly seems like a man very focused on what he's doing at Newcastle. His work rate is incredible. I really like the partnership that I have with him, that Ross has with him. So Eddie consistently indicates to us how happy he is here. Again, I see someone operating with high conviction. And look, I'm someone who I pay a lot of attention to what people say, but I pay even more attention to what they do. And I see someone very leaned in and very focused. Eddie's not in the room, but I know Eddie is 100% devoted to what's going to happen tonight in Manchester. And I'm really happy with the job Eddie.
What is Eddie's remit this season, David?
To maximize the potential of the squad he's got. And, we haven't given him a set target, achieve this, achieve that. Look, he is a deeply experienced total professional. Eddie's going to go as high as we possibly can. He applies the same level of intention and attention to every match we play. Look, we haven't given him a clear target to say deliver this. He knows what the ambition is, and he knows what the target is.
But you need Champions League football, don't you?
Champions League
for
football,
revenue.
Look, that's a competition we're very much alive in. We had a great match in Paris last week, and on we go in 2 weeks off to Karabakh, which I only recently found out where that is. So we'll be off to Azerbaijan, which
you need to leave tomorrow.
It's a ways to get there. I hear it's beautiful in February. So look, we're alive in that competition and doing well in that competition. So yes, that's an important part of it.
How do you think the new signings, Voltamade, Wissa, and Alanga have done so far this season?
They've been well integrated into the squad. I think with Wissa, I'd still like some more information. Having him out for so long with that horrible knee injury, we're still looking for some more data. How we came through the summer transfer window, which was an incredible amount of spend. We spent over £250 million here on transfer fees. I mean, this is a huge commitment we've made. I'm looking to still see how that all comes together over time. I still think, especially in the light of this injury, it's a little early to rate that whole program.
David, the show White and Jordan, Simon Jordan is the other part of the show. He's not with us today. Vastly experienced, loves Eddie Howe, but thinks that maybe Eddie, with all due respect to Eddie, and he's interviewed and spoken to him about this on this subject, maybe Eddie isn't the man to be at Newcastle United to win the big baubles. Maybe it'd be somebody else, not Eddie. Is Eddie, in your eyes, the man to steer you through this 2030 vision that you have?
Eddie's our manager. Eddie's an extraordinary manager. We just talked about how much he's envied by other clubs and the national program. So with all due respect to Simon, I could not disagree more. And then I guess he won't be going to work with Simon anytime soon. But Eddie's our man, and he has our total support here.
Clear something up for me, David. Sandro Tonali. In the recent window there, on deadline day itself, there were reports that his agent had offered him to Arsenal. Before you came in, this was Eddie on that.
Lots of things happen without my knowledge. As far as I'm aware, we've got a player that's an outstanding footballer, an outstanding person. He's very happy here. He's got a great relationship with me, his teammates. Seems really, really happy within himself. So that would surprise me, but I think he's always going to be attracting, or our best players will always be attracting glances from other clubs. That's just the reality of football. We want to keep the group together. We want to keep being progressive. And of course, Sandro plays a part in that, trying to hit his best levels and play as well as he can to help the team. So all encompassed, I don't see an issue, but as I say, I'm not in control of everything.
David, can you, to an extent, go on the record for us on this? Did his agent offer Tonali to Arsenal?
I have no idea. That's our answer. So I think Eddie's got it right there. He doesn't know. I don't know. Here's what I do know. He's a superstar player. He's under contract here. And by the way, he's not the only player we have that other clubs would covet. So I think if we get in a situation where people aren't trying to muck about and sow some chaos into the marketplace in order to dislodge our players, then we got a bigger problem. Sandro's wonderful. I see him with smiles on every day I see him. I believe he's happy here, and we're certainly happy with him.
Just on the subject of players moving on, it was a difficult summer, wasn't it, because of the Alexander Isak saga. Do you fear that big clubs might come in for Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes in particular at the end of this season? What did you learn from that Isak situation? How would the club operate differently this time around?
Look, I was at a distance for that. I wasn't here. I started, as we talked about 5 months ago, tomorrow, which was just after the transfer window was closed. So I watched all of that at a distance, and I wasn't involved in it. Look, I think it's what I just said. Other clubs are always going to be attracted to our best players. Our job is to make sure that we've got the conditions here for them to grow as individuals, grow as footballers, be happy and succeed. And so I think about it, look, people only get their heads turned when they're unhappy with their current situation. Our job is to keep them satisfied with the progress of their lives and their careers here at Newcastle.
It was interesting. I remember this, David. There were a few metaphorical bullets fired from Bayern Munich over Newcastle's capture of Voltemada. Uli Hoeneß, of course, a household name. Now the president of Bayern Munich suggested Newcastle's strategy was, quotes, nothing to do with football. It's like Monopoly these days. And his sidekick, Christopher Freund, said Newcastle were a good club, but not the top tier. So they had a bit of a swipe at you on that one, and yet Voltemada came here. The club doesn't regret the money that it's paid for Voltemada.
Nick's been a great acquisition. Nick voted with his feet, and we're happy to have him here. And we hope he has a long and prosperous career here, and we're focused on what we're about and moving straight forward.
Rummenigge, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, congratulated Stuttgart for, quotes, finding an idiot who will pay that much money.
Did he?
You're not that idiot, are you? It was a
with
bit
all
rough.
due respect
some
to
of the
that point of view,
right.
Bayern's a club that we admire and has had extraordinary success, and we don't think about them very much. We think about Newcastle.
Well said. 10 years' time, what do you think? Do you think Newcastle in a decade will have won the Premier League and the Champions League? Are we talking about that?
We are, but I think 10 years is too long. We have a high ambition here. We have a concrete plan. It's a 5-year plan. It takes us through 2030, and it has benchmarks along the way. A plan without a time frame attached to it is just a fantasy. It's just a dream. So we have a plan here. We have a strategy here. We're working on executing that every single day. But 10 years is too long. We got to think about how we are consistently contending for those top prizes within 5 years. 10 years, you walk at a certain pace. With 5 years, I already feel like we're burning daylight, and we need to get after this every
So
single
by
day.
2030, Newcastle United, this great club, will have been Premier League champions. That's what you're telling me?
That's our ambition.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
Good luck tonight. 2-0 down. David's prediction is that Newcastle come back into it 2-2 and kicks.
And win on kicks. Write it down. You heard it here.
I love it. David Hopkinson with us live on talkSPORT. David, many thanks. I know you've got to scoot. Stay with us. Steve Bruce is on the way alongside Gabby, Alex and myself. We're live in talkSPORT. We're live in YouTube. Stay with us all the way through until 1 o'clock.
My biggest regret playing for England and not playing for Scotland. So,
are you serious?
Harvey Barnes, don't do the same thing.
It's your biggest regret.
You didn't know that.
Playing for England.
I want to play for Scotland.
There you go.
Did you really?
Yeah, that national anthem was.
Oh man, Flower of Scotland, unbelievable.
You're getting me all sentimental, guys. Man. We need, because you've got a lot of things going on. You've got a tour going on at this moment, a stand-up show called Defying Calamity, right?
That's right.
How do you go on tour and defy calamity?
Well,
surely they go hand in hand.
Yeah, well, they do a little bit. Yeah, it depends how the gigs go. But it's just great fun. As you know, I do like lots of impressions of politicians and a few football and cultural people. And then I talk about having survived cancer a couple of years ago and the changes to my body as a result of it. So it's like mixing the personal with the political, and it's just great fun. It's good to be alive.
Do you know what I'm dying to ask somebody like yourself, Matt? Where do you just get an idea? Obviously, when you've got a tour planned, you'll go and you'll do a script and you'll have a line you'll follow. But where do you see the humour? Where do you find the humour? Is it in everyday life?
It's everyday life, and I think I watch a lot of the news, and then you see sort of hypocrisy or incompetence. They're always like good things. But what I often try and do is I do this whole thing about
So I had the base of my spine removed, so I've lost bladder and bowel function, so I've got a colostomy bag and I have to catheterise. I'm currently having...
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. We're ready for the action. Are you? Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18+. GambleAware.org.
Hi everybody, Jim White, Alex Crook, Gabby Agbonlahor. We're live from St James's Park in Newcastle ahead of the BetMGM Premier League darts opener, which kicks off tomorrow night right here in this wonderful city. And then later on this morning, Luke Humphreys and Stephen Bunting will be stopping by and joining us on the show before we go at 1 o'clock today. And it's thanks to our friends at BetMGM that we are here today, and representing this great company, BetMGM, is one Matt Gibson. Matt, good morning to you. Good to see you in person, mate.
Morning, lads. All right.
I mean, I know you love Elland Road. That's your club. But when you look behind you, how about that for a backdrop?
Yeah,
what a stadium, isn't it?
It's not bad. The last time I was here, didn't have a great time, Jim. I'll be honest with you. Scored 3 goals and still didn't win the game. But yeah, what a place to be. And it looks, despite the grey skies, it looks ace behind us, doesn't it?
Oh, it's a great stadium. This is a stadium Gabby visited on numerous occasions with Villa and never scored.
He did hit the post, though.
But apparently he did hit the post. We'll try and see if we can get someone who can describe that scene for us before we go today. Matt, Arsenal-Chelsea last night, we were watching it together, of course, just in the hotel round the corner. What are you thinking on that, and what are you thinking about tonight?
It certainly wasn't one for the neutral, was it, lads? I think I was more interested in having a few chicken wings than watching the football. It was a pretty average game, but listen,
Alex Crook ate most of them, but yeah.
If you were second behind Crookie, you were struggling, weren't you?
Yes. There was one solitary chicken wing left. Gabby and I just looked at it. Anyway, sorry, Matt.
Arsenal not handsome performance, but they get the job done, don't they? And they are 9 to 10 to win the EFL Cup. You've been talking about it this morning. Why were Chelsea so pessimistic? James not in the squad. Neto not risked. With a few Chelsea fans last night, the medics are picking the team. Apparently, it's a bit mad, isn't it? They've got an opportunity to have a real tilt at Arsenal. And I felt like if that was my team, I'd rather them lose 3-4-0 having a tilt than sitting back and getting done in the last minute.
Yeah, very much so. Look ahead to tonight for us. You heard from the chief exec there, who's now hot-footing it, I think, to the Etihad. Newcastle go in 2 down to Manchester City. What's your thinking there?
Well, Man City were technically 2 down at half-time against Spurs, weren't they? And they managed to sort of mess that up, and they're in the same situation tonight. Without Mark Gay, can't play. I thought the back four looked rocky. Crookie, you watched the Spurs game. I thought they looked rocky at the weekend at the back, but Newcastle not great without Bruno. I think they've played 8, won 1, drawn 5, lost 2 without Bruno. Won 3 of 16 away from home, lost 17 of it, or not won in 17-18 visits to the Etihad. So they are big outsiders. A 3-1 to win the game, 14-1 to qualify. You just asked the chappie about Nick Voltemada there. It's 2-1 to score and 11-2 to score first, which if was your man from the German fellow had a go at him saying we found some idiot to pay 60
right,
quid. Well, I'll tell you what, if Nick Voltemade scores first tonight, it might be a
we'll be on the phone to Carl.
Might be a decent investment.
That would be. Have you priced up Newcastle to be Premier League champions by 2030?
Well, you've given me all of 45 seconds to do it, so no, not yet. But it'll be one to remember, certainly. That.
I mean, the stats don't make us optimistic about Newcastle tonight, Gabby. Eddie at Manchester City at the Etihad played 5, won none, scored none. So, I mean, they're going to have to go some. Yeah. We expected David Hopkinson to be very upbeat about the chances tonight, the chief exec, and he was. But it's a job to do, isn't it? And it's a huge one.
The stats are all against them, aren't they? But I kind of think, like, from an outside point of view, that's when the Geordies thrive, isn't it? You know, when the chips are stacked against them, when everyone's kind of writing them off. 14-1. We're sat here at St James's Park. I don't know, mate. Maybe it's worth 10 bob for the miracle to happen and Newcastle qualify.
I think I'm right in saying the last time that Manchester City won the first leg of a League Cup semi-final and didn't reach the final was 2010 when they lost to Manchester United, and you played in that final, didn't you?
Don't remember that, mate. No. Was that when Phil Dowd never sent Vidic off?
What about the battle for Champions League places, Matt? Let's focus on Villa and Manchester United.
Yeah, I mean, we've got prices for top 2, top 4, top 5. Crookie, after a few beers last night, and weirdly in the cold light of day this morning on the waters, said Manchester United will finish second. Which we've got priced at quite a big price at 11-1. Villa obviously in there, Gabby. I don't know whether you think they've got the staying power of maybe the 3 that are chasing them down for it.
He's a concerned man.
Do you think Villa come back? It's 4 teams for 3 spots. Who misses out in the long term?
I'll just look at Manchester United. If they beat Spurs, which you think they will, and Manchester City lose to Liverpool, the 3 points between both teams. So I'll see where Crookie's coming from. The run they've been on under Carrick, they've got every chance of top 2.
Who misses out then? Those 4 teams there: Villa, United, Chelsea, Liverpool.
I think Chelsea.
Chelsea miss out
because they might play 5 at the back for the rest of the season.
We were talking earlier that those teams in behind sort of Arsenal. Arsenal have done it on like keeping clean sheets, haven't they? Really good defensive wise. The chasing pack, if you like, haven't got that. So it's maybe the 9 and the 10 and the attacking force that's the difference makers. Liverpool fans among us are getting a bit excited about Wirtz and Ekitike, that link up there. If Watkins stays fit and Rodgers stays in his form, that 9 and 10, Man U, Cunha and Bremo, they're sort of
Chelsea, Liverpool, Aston Villa in Europe as well. How far do they go?
Pick, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Gabby, you and Emery were saying recently that Villa are not top 5 contenders.
We're near the bottom, aren't we, of the net spend? Is that right in the last 5 years, Jim? Maybe that's his reasons. I'll back him.
He's a man on form. The Premier League darts. Come on, give us your preview as we look ahead to that. Messrs Bunting and Humphreys coming our way shortly.
We do. We've got Steve and Luke on later. Luke plays Going Price tomorrow night, and Stephen Bunting goes up against Michael Van Gogh. And that double, because the lads are here, that's 27-10. So maybe worth a five of that little double there for the boys who are on the show. But listen, the 18-karat gold darts are back for the 9 darters, which we know went down a storm with the players last year. There's 5 9 darters in the Premier League last year. It's 7-1 for a 9 darter on night 1. Humphreys hit the 9 darter at the weekend. He's 25-1 to do that against Gerwin Price tonight. Dan Towles will be sweating because he's got to go to the jewellers if that 9 darter comes up. So we're hoping there's a moment of magic in Newcastle. Luke Littler's obviously favourite to win night 1, fellas. Why wouldn't it be 13-8? Luke Humphreys won here last year, 5-1. He's a good Leeds United fan, so I'll be having a shilling or 2 on him. I hope he can do the business in Newcastle as he did last year.
You got a mention in for your beloved Leeds United.
Got to, haven't
you had to. Matt, thank you very much indeed. And the Premier League darts gets underway in this wonderful city, Newcastle, tomorrow night. That was a look at the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM. Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18+, begambleaware.org. Steve Bruce is on the way.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Keep things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18+, gambleaware.org.
And I want to start with asking who's the best player you ever played with and why?
Played with? It's difficult when you've got goalkeepers, defenders, midfield players, Patrick, and it's supposed to be quick, isn't it?
Well,
okay.
You're all right.
Okay, good. Patrick and Manu Petit, great midfielders.
You only picked one, though.
Robert Perez, Mark Overmars. There was so many. Freddie Lundberg, so many quality players. Dennis Bergkamp, Ian Wright, Thierry Henry.
So 20.
Yeah, but Dennis is Thierry, greatest goal scorer. He's got the lead for the Arsenal. But I think I'm going to say Dennis because he can make goals and score goals. It's big difference. He made most of Thierry's goals. So I would say the best player I've ever played with was Dennis.
That's a club one. What about internationally?
Teddy did that job for us, for England, and he was very underestimated. I think Teddy Sheringham, Alan Shearer was a fantastic centre-forward, bit of a throwback to the Haaland days where would have been Alan Shearer was a cup of tea for me. It was easy because he was like old school.
Just dismissed Haaland, Shearer,
exactly.
Easy to defend.
The kind of ones that used to stay, but Peter Beardsley's and Gary Lineker's. He would sit on your shoulder. He's very quick and stuff. But Brian Robson, I'm going to say Brian Robson because he could make goals and score goals. But he was the heartbeat of when I used to come through and I made my debut and stuff. He was a tremendous leader, phenomenal player. Yeah. So.
Henry?
Yeah, when you played, were some games actually harder in training because you were up against Wright and Bergkamp, presumably, in some of the sessions, than the actual match on the Saturday?
I quickly, I used to kick people because I found very early in my career the fans quite liked it. And in my day, you could actually...
Mikel Arteta thinks success in March would help Arsenal win more trophies in May.
The fact that you win, that brings confidence, energy, trust at every level. And once you've done it once, it's easier to make it the second one. So today was a hurdle that we have to go through against that really tough opponent, and we deserve to be in Wembley.
Kai Havertz's 97th minute winner made it 1-0 on the night, 4-2 on aggregate against Chelsea. Tonight, Man City take a 2-0 lead into their Carabao Cup second leg at home to Newcastle. That's live on talkSPORT from 7 p.m. Now, Arsenal might be in the final and top of the Premier League playing a particular brand of football, capitalising on long throws and set pieces. But Michael Owen predicts the style of football in England to change even further.
Somebody will go with two centre forwards soon and start crossing the ball, and all of a sudden people won't know how to handle it because even centre halves have changed. You used to need to be 6'5" and robust to be a centre half. Now no one crosses it, so you don't even have to be.
In the Championship, considering a change of management and a transfer embargo, Hull assistant boss Dean Holden says the club are in great shape, sitting third in the table.
We've recruited some really top players, Championship-ready players who've been to the Premier League before, so to be sitting third, I think 9 points inside the playoffs for us, we'd have certainly taken it.
And snooker great John Virgo has died at the age of 79. Virgo, who won the UK Championship in 1979, enjoyed a long and storied career, but was best known for his work as a broadcaster.
Good morning. What's left of it? It's Jim White, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor, and we're live from St James's Park in Newcastle. Thanks to our friends at BetMGM. We are coming to you live from this great stadium in this great city this morning. And of course, it's ahead of the BetMGM Premier League Darts Opener, which kicks off tomorrow night right here in this city. Stephen Bunting and Luke Humphreys will stop by later on before we go at 1 o'clock today. Lots of reunions today, I have to tell you. Former Manchester United captain and former Newcastle United manager Steve Bruce joins us on the show this morning. But what Alex and I witnessed there moments ago was highly charged and very, very emotional when Steve and Gabby clapped eyes on each other again, because Steve Bruce managed Gabby at Villa between 2016 and 2018. Steve, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Gaffer.
And by the way, it was hard work. As you can imagine.
That's it. Cut his mic. Cut his mic.
Can I say by the end of it, they were all hard work, and Gabby become one of the leaders of the pack. Would you believe?
Steve,
he's terrific.
Let's set the record straight. When you arrived at Villa Park in October 2016, Gabby had been out in the cold and was training away from the first team, but you brought him back into the fold. Is this true?
He was straight back in, yeah. I wasn't really interested in what happened in the past, so I dragged him in and said, I'm not really interested in what's gone on before. Let's see if we can get yourself back into some sort of shape and get you back playing again. And that's what you did.
So you brought him back out of the bomb squad. Why were you in the bomb squad?
I think we got relegated the season before and done the whole pre-season with Roberto Di Matteo, the whole of it, no issues at all. And I remember it was 2 days before the first game of the season, and he called me into his office, and I thought, okay, he's going to say, where are you going to play? Going to play on the left, on the right, as a striker. And he said, we want you to leave. I was like, oh, okay. Where? And he said, Reading and Rangers want you. I was like, okay. Well, I'm not leaving. I was part of the reason we got relegated, and I want to help this team get back to the Premier League. And I just said to him, maybe shouldn't I, but in the emotions, I says, I'll be here longer than you in the room with him. And I think he lasted 12, 15 games, wherever it was. And then this great manager, Steve Bruce, come in and got me out of the bomb squad. Very difficult, the bomb squad. It's not a nice place to be. You know, you got 16-year-olds megging you, and you're thinking like, what's the point?
There was a few in the bomb squad.
Yeah, there was a few. Yeah. There was no seats left in the bomb squad at that time.
But how did you feel about a former Birmingham City manager coming in to manage your great club?
I didn't mind one bit because I knew how much of a great manager Steve Bruce was. It wasn't an issue at all. The only issue I had was when Birmingham City got relegated under Alex McLeish, and then a month later he got the Villa job. That was the one that some of the players in the squad at that time were a bit confused about all the managers you could have got. And Alex McLeish, who was very good with me, got Blues relegated and come straight to Villa. But Steve Bruce, legendary player, legendary manager, I was excited because I'd heard of how much of a good manager he was, and it was amazing to me. I probably didn't at that time have it in me to really get into his starting 11, but he was fantastic with me for the time I was there.
I mean, Steve, you know that Gabby was a one-club man, of course, with Aston Villa. Loyalty, I mean, does it really matter? You crossed the divide, Birmingham Villa, Sunderland Newcastle, Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah. You did pick your jobs.
Yeah. I think there's something sick in me, to be fair, but it just happened like that. And, when I went to Sunderland, it was all about, I'm a Geordie, can I go to Sunderland? And I did it and enjoyed it. And, of course, the opportunity come here. But, yeah, it's worked out there. Birmingham, the two Birmingham, the two the North East, the two Sheffield. So just the way it worked out. But I was delighted to get Villa, but it was in a bit like Newcastle when I came in here, and probably that's the reason why I got the job. I'm not naive enough to think that they were in trouble. I mean, they'd just been relegated badly at Villa, and to be fair, I think they'd won something like 4 and 54 for a club like Aston Villa is quite remarkable, isn't it? So it was a difficult period, and we needed to make big changes, and it takes time to make change. But I have to say, from day one, Gabby was terrific, and I still remember him scoring the goal in the derby. He got himself in good nick for the derby coming up, and he knocked on my door on the Friday and make sure I play against this blue mob on us. I says, Gabby, you're in. You go and do your stuff. And right enough, scored in the last 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. Steve, I want to ask you, how do you honestly feel being back here at St James's Park?
Well, when
because
I just hear...
First time in 5 years.
Yeah, I've not been back since I left. Listen, I've still got family, and my father-in-law, my brother and sister-in-laws and all still live here. So to be a Geordie and to manage this great club, which I knew was going to be difficult, I was under no illusion. But the times have changed here. When I just listened to the CEO who thinks they're going to win the league in the next 5 years, and they've got, unfortunately, they're hamstrung with financial restrictions. We all understood that, and they've got to generate money. But I have to say, I'm a Geordie, and I've managed this great club. And how many Geordies have managed Newcastle? I'll get your...
No, fair play.
Fair
so
play. I mean, coming back, I knew it was going to be difficult, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. But it was a different ball game.
Were you a victim of timing?
Not victim of timing. It was, look, they'd just been in the Premier League for a couple of years because they'd been in the Championship. So Rafa Benitez was very, very popular. There were supporters, and of course, I was brought in to replace him. So it was. My remit was just to stay in the Premier League, and make sure you keep us afloat, and that was the remit, and that was it. But it was difficult at times, of course.
Why have you stayed away for so long? Why have you not been back in 5 years?
I've been trying to work a little bit. Keep getting the sack now and again. And I live in Cheshire, and it's not for the fact that I haven't been back to the ground. I've been back to the city a few times, so I've been back to the city, but I've never been back in St James's. So it's always good to see it. Whenever you see it, whenever you come to the city, you see it. For goodness' sake.
Yeah, I know you, Steve. You're a proud man, and you will be proud that you got the opportunity to manage this great club, and this is your neck of the woods.
Yeah,
and you love this area, and it's a wonderful area, and to come from here and manage Newcastle must have been great. But when it went pear-shaped, and there was a lot of toxicity, how bad did it get? How affected did you become?
Well, where I lived, there was a little cottage in the gardens, and an elderly couple lived in the gardens. And the number of times we had to get the police was not great. And it was in amongst COVID too, where, people weren't at their best. And listen, it's been well documented.
Why the police? What happened?
Well, I lived on the back of Jasmine Dean, and one night there was rockets being fired. These big fireworks being fired at the house, and and the people that knew I'd got there. But look, it was a handful, and there's always a little handful. But all in all, it was difficult because some of the press, in particular, weren't having me from day one, which I fully get. I fully understand that maybe I wasn't good enough to manage this great club in their opinion. I fully get it. But it became, I believe, in the end, personal. Especially with one or two, it became personal. And that I had the issue with. And most of the time, you're looking over your shoulder. But I still look back on it and think, I'll never, ever regret not taking it. Look, when people like Kenny Dalglish and Graham Souness and people like that...
Yeah.
Told me how difficult it was. It's a difficult job.
Yeah.
Thankfully now, listen, all that's in the past. Thankfully now, they've got money behind them. They're where they want to be. They're competing at the top end. They've won a trophy. They're in the Champions League. They've still got a lot of work to do, but that's what the supporters demand.
And you're genuinely pleased for them.
I am genuine. I'm a Geordie. I'm genuinely pleased.
But I think a lot of the fans thought you were too close to Mike Ashley.
Well, that's a load of nonsense. It's a load of nonsense. It wasn't the fact. Listen, I got on particularly well with him because I tell you what, as a chairman, he didn't interfere. He didn't say you can't play these two tonight because one of them's got a sore hamstring. What I'm hearing now, which is absolute nonsense. He never interfered with the team. He let me get on with it, supported me as best he could. What more do you want as a manager? You need a relationship with whoever's in charge. And I think that's the big thing. Arsenal, I heard you talking about. They've given Arteta now nearly 5 years. It's unheard of. But look at the other big clubs where they keep making change after change after change. They're not going anywhere. So, it was difficult. And yes, because they all thought I was up Mike Ashley's backside, which was farthest from the truth. Yeah, it's been well documented.
I agree with what you said, though, because I remember working on talkSPORT and defending you, and it was getting a bit personal from some of the media. I totally agree with you. You wanted to be judged on the performances and what you do as a manager, but there seemed like some were just after you from the start.
Look, Gabby here, they want a team that's up and at you, what Eddie's provided, right? I never had a team good enough to play that way. I had to defend deep, play on the counter-attack, and we had 2-3 players, St Maximum and Almiron and Callum Wilson in the end, who could try and nick us a goal. And I make no excuse that's the way we played, because all I was interested in was, how do I keep this great club in the Premier League and wait for Mike really to sell it. And you have to say well done to Mike of who he sold it to. There's not many clubs that are run by the state of Saudi Arabia, let's be brutally honest. So he sold to the people who can really take the club where it wants to go.
What do you think the biggest issue was between you and the fans? Was it that you weren't Rafa Benitez? Was it because you were an ex-Sunderland manager?
Well, do you know something? No. Rafa was really, really popular with them. Probably because he maybe went against the board. I don't know.
But in terms of results, your record wasn't
I looked at
his.
Rafa and thought, what a great job he's done with the squad of players he's got, and no disrespect to the players that we had. How did he do it? And I studied Newcastle 12, 13, 14 games and thought, I'm not going to change much here because, he's a very, very talented manager and this is the way he played. So I just try to keep it as good as I can, the same way. But of course, my way wasn't Rafa's way. I really don't know.
Do you know what, Steve? When I heard we were doing the show from here this morning, and I heard you were joining us, and having not been here for 5 years, I thought, great, because it's so important we get your side of it when you look back, and so important to hear what you still think of this great club. Steve, we're happy to have you, mate. Believe me on that. Stay with us. The other side of this break, more from Steve, and we'll look ahead to that Carabao Cup semi-final second leg tonight. We're live in talkSPORT with Selco, where the trade goes.
There was another team there tonight, Chelsea. They didn't turn up, but they were there. And the main man who talks about him, he's not on tonight because he was doing the game. We have phoned him, and he's answered. Jason Cundy. All right, Cundy. Cundy.
Chelsea. Up the Club World Champions.
Shut up, mate. You were garbage, mate. Garbage.
Well done to cringe and win FC. Beat the World Club Champions. But look, well done. Hopefully, if they play in the final, beat them.
Jace, I'm not being funny, right? I don't know your take on this. I was disappointed in you lot tonight. I thought you were just miles off trying to go and win the game. It looked like you was just going there to not get beat.
Well, that's exactly what he set up to do. Look, after the first leg, that couldn't happen again, by the way, because Arsenal should have won that game at least by 2 or 3. And he's like, I can't have this happen again. And you could see, when you go 3 at the back, you know what he's doing, right? And at half-time, the problem we've got, the payoff, has got to be when you bring on the subs, have an impact. And unfortunately, we couldn't lay a glove on them, mate. And Winge and Cringe, they're good at the minute. You can't argue with Winge and Cringe. They do it well. They're the best side of the country. They're the best side in Europe at the moment, even though they've never won the European Cup or the Champions League. It's
Yeah, but Jace, listen, you can say all that, right? You can say all that, but you've got World Cup winners in your team. You've got top players in your team. You've got international football players. Go and make something happen. Go and win the game. Yeah. Go and throw, everything at it. I mean, it was absolutely terrible. Even in the last 20 minutes, Cole Palmer comes on and he makes it different.
Didn't work.
But come on. Bring him on at half time. Playing Liam Delap right wing.
Yeah, no, that I didn't get the Liam Delap at right wing. I'll give you that. I didn't get that, but he tried to turn it into a 45-minute game. The problem you've got at a 45-minute game is you've wasted 45 minutes to get.
It's Jim White, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor, and alongside us is Steve Bruce, and we're live from St James's Park in Newcastle. Newcastle going in, of course, the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg, 2 down from the first leg, and they're at Manchester City tonight, so we wish them well on that. It's live in talkSPORT. Former Newcastle boss Steve Bruce is alongside Gabby, myself and Alex at this stage as we bowl up into 12 noon. Steve, just on something, with the arrival of the Saudis, it struck me, Eddie Howe, you recommended Eddie, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a conversation with Amanda and a husband at the time, and they asked, could I recommend, who would you recommend for the job? And I have to say, I put 2 forward, of course, both being English. I put Steven Gerrard down, and of course Eddie, and I'm delighted to do so. I think he's done an unbelievable job over the last 4 or 5 years. And, we're talking about now, can they go to the next step in the next level? And why can't he be the one? He's just shown how good he is from his Bournemouth days right the way through to all what he's done. He has his teams playing the right way. You enjoy watching them play. He's a top-class fella as well. Very, very dedicated to what he does, and I think he's done a marvellous job. Nobody could have done a better job.
Only 3 players from your final game are in the setup here today. You'll probably reel them off. Jacob Murphy, Joe Linton and Joe Willock. It's all change. Do you think this is a Newcastle United side at this time, judging where they are and what they've been doing this season, maybe what they haven't been doing? Are they capable of going to the Etihad tonight and turning it round, Steve? It's a big ask, isn't it?
Oh, they're capable. Whether they'll do it or not is another question, but they're capable. They were terrific for 40 minutes at Liverpool at the weekend. If they score first, these days, I hate to say this, but Man City look a little bit fragile. If they score first, who knows? But, to go to the Etihad and win, let alone by 3 goals and score twice there, I think they've given themselves too much to do. Did they concede here in the last minute? Was probably a body blow for them, but
they did, yeah.
Look, yeah. I don't think you could ever write them off. The way they played in Paris the week before, they were terrific that night too. So I would never write them off, but they've got it all to do, that's for sure.
What do you make of Manchester City and the whispers that seem to be getting louder that this will be Pep Guardiola's last season? Do you see a scenario where he walks away?
I hope not, because when we talk about the people who have influenced the Premier League, Pep's got to be up there. The number of young coaches and young people and people who work with him who get jobs, he's been quite unbelievable, hasn't he? He's the one who started the introverted fullbacks and the way they play out from the back. Every goalkeeper now has got to play out from the back because that's the Pep way and what he's educated everybody. I sincerely hope not. I think they're in just big transition.
Do you think his press conferences, though, recently, like the one 2 days ago, where he's been sarcastic about the net spend and you want to spend more and he's not happy that they're 7th in the net spend league?
You never know with them, do you? No. That's the intrigue of them. Do you take the mickey?
I think
is he taking the mickey out of everybody?
Yeah, I think he's being sarcastic, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been sarcastic. Yeah. I really don't know. I never really listen to him on interviews anymore because I'm always intrigued of just how good he is. And again, they're in transition.
Well, Gabby called him a checkbook manager.
Yeah, of course.
But he's more than that, Gabby, isn't he?
By the way, aren't every Premier League manager a checkbook manager? From Arteta to Man City to Liverpool to Man United, they all spend tens of millions.
Yeah.
You know, I think everybody's got that checkbook, but it's getting the right ones. And Man United in particular over the last couple of transfer windows with Mbemo and Cunha have been proper players, you know, where you look and think, wow, thank the Lord they've bought well.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all about, listen, checkbook managers, it's all about recruitment. And I think here at Newcastle, the recruitment in Eddie's first year was crucial of who he brought in and what he'd done to stabilise the club, and then kicked on from there. And they've bought some very, very good players.
Arsenal got through last night, Steve. Chelsea went out at the second leg semi-final stage. And Chelsea fans, I think some of them felt, okay, we might have gone there to win it as opposed to going there and make sure we don't lose it. They could have been more ambitious. Did you feel that? Do you think?
I think when I seen his lineup to start with, I thought it's brave. It's brave. He can understand why he wants to do it. I keep hearing about Palmer. Isn't he fit or is he not fit? And he can only play 45 minutes and 60 minutes. That I find disturbing because it's a semi-final.
Yeah.
So you want your big players on the pitch for a semi-final. If they're fit, play them. You know, we talk about the Carabao Cup, and there's Arsenal now. We're talking about here now to start with. Haven't been anywhere near that cup final for 25 years. And it's arguably a more difficult one to win than the FA Cup because of the seeding situation. All the big clubs are still there, the last 32 or wherever they are. So, yeah, it was a big call, and unfortunately it didn't quite work out for him.
See, we're going to head towards 12 noon. Just before we do, the chief executive of Newcastle was with us, David Hopkinson, and they have big plans. And whether 2030 comes about and they've won something significant, well, we'll wait and see. How will you feel? Will you have a smile on your face as and when the time comes? Will you quietly have a grin on your face and think, well done, if they end up winning the Premier League, if Newcastle can win the Champions League?
Well, I think the big problem that they face is, unfortunately, financial fair play. And the big clubs are really restricting them. They're quite clever, PSR. We talk about it too often as a fan, don't we? Newcastle have had to sell 2 of their best young players for a start. They won't enjoy that. Eddie wouldn't have enjoyed that at all, you know, and that's the situation they're in. Can they make the impact because they need to increase the business and get more money through the turnstiles? Can they get an extra 10,000 people in the seats? Is there more they can do? Corporate hospitality? All of this will be ringing through their ears to try and generate more money, but it's going to be a big ask because I think they're on the brink of every year, aren't they? Unfortunately. So there's a lot of clubs, Aston Villa are the same, who want to be in the same boat.
Sure.
You know, Everton are the same. They want to be in the same boat. So there's a lot of the big clubs who are trying to reach out to the top 5 or 6.
Be amazing if it happens. Or Newcastle fans, when it happens, probably is the way you're thinking. We're bowling up to 12 noon. Remember, the other side in the final hour today will be joined by darts player Stephen Bunting and Luke Humphreys here at St James's Park, Newcastle. Stay with us. We're live in talkSPORT, live on YouTube as well at 12 noon this Wednesday lunchtime.
I do think Arsenal can win the quadruple, because I'm asking myself, who's going to beat us? Who in world football? Who in world? I'm serious. Who in world football right now is going to beat us? We are the best squad. We are the best squad assembled in the history of world club football.
Piers, Manchester United managed to do it the other week there, right? Now, I accept Arsenal are absolutely flying, and you have you got any idea how Arsenal haven't won anything, and all of a sudden you've got them winning a quadruple? It can't happen.
Well, not just me says we're going to win the quadruple. We are favourites to win all 4 competitions. So the bookmakers, I know that you guys like your bookies, the bookmakers agree with me that right now Arsenal are the favourites to win the Premier League, the Champions League, the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. And I think we've got a real chance. I've been saying for a while that Arteta's game plan over 5 years to get a squad where he had 2 top-class players for every position, minimum, has now come to fruition. To the extent that last night, for example, Odegaard is out, Saka's out, so in come Eze and Madueke, right? And there's no drop in quality whatsoever. In fact, if anything, I think Saka's been so overplayed that Madueke, at the moment, looks like he may actually be a better option for us until Saka has a bit of a rest. So in every position, it doesn't matter. Calafiori goes out, Hincapié comes in. Lewis Skelly, who is one of the most talented players in British football, he can't even get a game. Jesus didn't get on last night. And again at every position, I look at the depth of the squad and the hunger, and I look at Arteta, who for the first 2 years was all over the place, I thought, as Arsenal manager, to the extent...
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan van range. Scoring a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
We do headlines at 3 minutes past 12. I'm Nick Ellaby. Good afternoon. Mark Selby's called John Virgo a great guy and a huge character who will be greatly missed. As a player, Virgo won snooker's UK Championship in 1979, but was best known for his work as a commentator and a brilliant foil to Jim Davidson on the BBC's Big Break.
Hi JB, how's the old snooker, mate?
Fast and furious.
Yes.
I can't pot the balls fast enough, and I'm furious.
John Virgo's died at the age of 79. On talkSPORT Breakfast, Ali McCoist recalled John speaking at one of his testimonials.
Gentlemen, wicked sense of humour, and you could tell all the boys really, really liked him. Stephen Henry and John Parrott and all the lads. So it's a sore one this morning, mate.
Now, Andy Carroll has arrived at court charged with breaching a non-molestation order. Those are usually issued to prevent someone from going near another individual. Carroll, the former Newcastle and Liverpool striker, was arrested at Stansted Airport last April. Rugby union fans will have to put up with split-screen adverts during matches when the tournament starts tomorrow, the Six Nations that is. ITV viewers will see one ad in each half alongside the action before a scrum, and ITV could expand this idea to the summer's Football World Cup. Meanwhile, Rugby World Cup winner Jason Robinson's urging Steve Borthwick to utilise his pacey backs.
France won last year, and it was they won by points. So tries are going to make a big difference. It's not just about winning the games. You've got to get that bonus point as well to win. So I'm hoping that England do play a bit and give a bit of width to the ball.
And Brendan McCullum is sick of answering questions about Harry Brooks' off-field behaviour. He's accusing the media of a pile-on. There's more on this on talkSPORT's cricket YouTube page.
talkSPORT News.
A teenager has been arrested on suspicion of murder over a stabbing in Leicester, and a do not travel alert's been lifted for train passengers in the southeast. Huge delays are still expected, though. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With a huge range of premium brands available, we've got what you need to drive away happy every time. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Cloudy, not as cold as yesterday. Rain across northern England, Northern Ireland and Scotland. Drier further south. Southern counties will get some sunny spells.
Good afternoon, everybody. 6 minutes past 12 noon this Wednesday afternoon. It's Jim White, it's Alex Crook, and it's Gabby Agbonlahor, and we're coming to you live from St James's Park, Newcastle. Why are we here? I'll tell you why we're here. Thanks to our friends at BetMGM. We're live from here today because Premier League darts gets underway tomorrow night right here in this great city. And in fact, in this final hour today, we're going to be joined by top players Stephen Bunting and Luke Humphreys. They will be joining us very shortly. But of course, you can't come to Newcastle and not talk about football. And this great football club tonight in the second leg of their semi-final tie, they're at Manchester City in the Carabao Cup. Newcastle United trailing by 2-0. Can they make that up? Well, the feeling in Newcastle is you bet they can. We'll see if that happens. Former manager Steve Bruce is with Gabby, myself and Alex this Wednesday lunchtime. And Steve is with us for the next half hour. I'm delighted about that, Steve. It's always good to see you, mate. We were talking about Liam Rosenior, talking about the fact that Liam Rosenior's Chelsea went out last night at the second leg stage of their semi-final in the Carabao Cup to Arsenal. Steve, did you always think, I mean, Liam played for you at Hull, did you always think somewhere down the line Liam would become a manager, and a top one at that?
Well, I think what was blatant about him was his enjoyment for the game, that's for sure. And I believe he took up the coaching stuff and did a bit with the academy at Hull when I was there. So I was aware of how interested he was in the game. And it didn't surprise me because he was football mad. And I think he did a lot with, as I said, with the academy at Hull. And then you follow people. I follow Gabby, who I had the pleasure of working with, and then he took the job at Derby and worked with Rooney and did a decent job with Rooney. And he was unfairly sacked at Hull, if I believe. He did okay at Hull as well. So, and you know what's quite refreshing for all of us English lads? It's quite refreshing to see a young English guy being given an opportunity. Because there's people who've worked in the lower divisions, English lads who've worked their socks off over the years, who never get an opportunity. You never seem to see an English guy, an English coach, getting an opportunity. It was good for him to go to Strasbourg, and then all of a sudden he's landed arguably one of the biggest jobs in Europe. I hope he gets a couple of people behind him, a bit of experience behind him, and I hope he keeps marching forward, because at this moment he's done very, very well. He's got beat last night. He made a tactical change, hasn't worked for him. He has to live with that, but you have to say the way the results are, the way Chelsea are, the way they're performing, he's done okay up to now.
What about this business that Enzo Maresca alluded to with medical staff basically picking the team? How would you respond to that if you were Liam Rosenior?
Well, that is now. Look, I played under the greatest manager that the world has ever seen and will ever likely to see in Sir Alex. And if somebody had told him, by the way, you can only play him for an hour, or he's not playing because he's not fit, especially, it's the way the game has changed. That's why now, are we head coaches? I think, especially in big games, you can't be putting the head coach or the manager under that restriction that you're going to play people. They're either fit or they're not, as far as I'm concerned.
Do you think it's strange as well, though, that maybe Chelsea as a football club now are looking at the Carabao Cup, not from a fan who want to go and win it and say, shall we risk Cole Palmer in that game when we want to get top 5 Champions League? We want to get through the next stage of the Champions League. Maybe that comes into it.
I know the Champions League is the holy grail for all the big clubs for the financial reasons. You ask any of the supporters of anybody, Crystal Palace, winning a trophy, whether it's the Carabao or the FA Cup, to get there, the occasion to win it, there's 4 trophies that you can win at most. And when you're in a semi-final, so all of them things, though, don't surprise me, because we hear it from afar, don't we? That the head coach has got to listen to the medical team, and that causes chaos at times.
That was what was refreshing. I think you did the Manchester derby for us, and obviously City were piling pressure on later on, and he decided not to take off Harry Maguire, Michael Carrick, even though he admitted, he was told before the game by the medical staff, he probably won't get through 90 minutes.
Yeah, and he kept him on.
Yeah.
and rightly so, because the last 10, 15 minutes, you want your most experienced centre-back on the pitch defending, because you know you're going to come under the cosh a little bit, and for me, he's made the right choice. If he's okay physically, you know when somebody physically is struggling, you know by your own eyes. You don't have anybody to tell you. So pleased he did it.
I'm just trying to picture, Jim,
Go on.
At Aston Villa, the physio calling the gaffer, Steve Bruce, here into his office and say, 50 for him, 60 for him. I'm trying to think of your reaction.
I think you know what it would be, Gabby, don't you? I think you know what it would be. But
Here's
that's
the thing, though, Steve. Under Sir Alex, I mean, you won 3 Premier League titles with Manchester United. Did you win them in a sexy way? Arsenal are coming in for it at the moment. That if they end up winning it,
the one thing that you do need, and I heard the debate earlier on,
right?
You have to have a good defence. All the great teams that won Premier Leagues have got a good defence.
Yeah.
That great Chelsea team. I seen John Terry celebrating the other day. They conceded 15 goals in a season. Or
but you were a defender, you would say.
Absolutely. And before he got the defensive situation right, they were never going to win anything. And thankfully, Pally and myself and Dennis Irwin and Parker and the goalkeeper played for years. Years and years and years. And that helps then the real top players to go and perform. You need that platform.
So, Steve, what if this Arsenal win it? Paul Scholes the other day, if Arsenal win the league, this could be the worst team to win the league. If you're thinking of picking a team of the season and picking front four, nobody from the Arsenal team gets in that.
Well,
this could
in
be
this
the worst
opinion,
team
listen,
to win the league.
Scholesy, we hear more Scholesy now than we've ever done, don't we?
I know, he never
and it's great to listen to him. But if he's going to come with nonsense like that, I have to say Scholesy.
Well, he never said boo when he played.
No, he never really wanted to do it, which you have to respect. But and we all interested in what he says now because we haven't heard him for years, have we?
Yeah.
But I have to disagree with him. I think this Arsenal team, you wouldn't want to play them, would you? They've got a little bit of everything. They've got a physicality about them. They've got some sparkle when they need it. They've got outstanding players in depth. I'm sure Saka would get in any team. I have to tell you.
Yeah,
and I've always been a Havertz fan. I don't know why, but I've always been a bit of a Havertz fan. That he can always perform at the top level. Look, they've got a really, really good squad in Odegaard, and when I look through them with what they've got, and I just congratulate them from afar that they've been there or thereabouts in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
For me, they've got a complete squad together. I keep hearing about trebles and quadruples. That's so difficult.
Maybe a bit early for that.
And they've still got to be...
You've gone a bit quiet, Alex, because you were Team Scholes on this.
Well, I was just going to ask, Bruce, you wouldn't want to play them, but would you want to watch them compared to that team that you played in under Ferguson with Kanchelskis and Giggs and Cantona and Hughes?
Maybe not. Look, I understand a supporter wants to be off the chair and off the seat, and that way you talk about has always been the Man United way, hasn't it? You know, Arsenal, for example, though, under George Graham, were 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Well, this is more of a George Graham team than an Arsene Wenger one, isn't it?
Possibly, but I think they've got the whole balance of it right. Of course, they're not maybe as exciting as I've seen them live a few times now, and you just have to. I thought the performance at Leeds after the setback against them told us everything about them.
Do you think they have to make it count this season, though? Because Liverpool will get better, Manchester United will invest, Chelsea will get better.
I think they've all invested, though. Everybody seems in turnaround, apart from Arsenal, have put everything in place. They've now got they won't have a better chance than winning the league than they've got now. Yeah. And can they win another one with it? Can they beat Man City in the Carabao or Newcastle in the Carabao?
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
Sure.
So,
well, Steve, you won't be surprised to hear that on Scholes' comments, Martin Keown decided to hit back as only Martin Keown can.
I love Paul, but, you know, this is like one of his comments is like one of his tackles, isn't it? It's waist high. And it's just... Paul he's still got it in his head. This Arsenal thing is starting to emerge. Maybe Man United are starting to emerge as well at the same time. Let's get it on, you know, in the future. Man United maybe not ready to win it this year, but they shut Arsenal up the week before. So, you know, I think Arsenal just need to concentrate, play their games, not listen to the noise that's on the outside, Jim. Arsene Wenger said this to us many years ago. You know, there's no meaning or everyone telling us that we're favourites. Don't listen to it. Let's just go and do it.
You see, he was talking about outside noise as well, Steve, and he says in 2026, it's much harder not to listen. Ferguson was the only enemy back in 1998. Not only did his attempts undermine us unite the group, but they also fired up the Highbury crowd.
Now rivals are more respectful to one another. You don't get Pep or Emery questioning Arsenal's mettle in their press conferences.
It's all part and parcel of it, and why we're intrigued with it. There's bigger outlays than there was. Outlays, is that the right word? I'm not sure. On social media, it's everywhere now, the debate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than back in 1998. By the way, Martin can talk about waist-high tackles because that's all he did, by the way. Hey, you talk about waist-high tackles. And...
Good afternoon, Martin. What fired you up, Steve, when you were trying to win a title under Sir Alex? And Arsenal are trying to do this under Mikel Arteta. What gets you over the line?
Well, listen, I remember before the Premier League started, the league before, which was the old Division 1, we lost out to Leeds. And that taught us a real harsh lesson of up until Christmas we were flying, and January and February were flying. And I wouldn't say bottled it, but we took the water in a little bit, and the experience of that and losing it the way we did was the kick in the teeth that we all thought, we're never going to do that again. And I think that experience, but Man United hadn't won the league in 26 years, so it was the holy grail for us, and we had to get over the line. And we got over it in the finish, and once you get over the first one, it's certainly easier for the second one, and it seems to go on a roll, as we've seen with City over the years. And Arsenal need to get over the line again, and I wouldn't be surprised if thereabouts for the year after and the year after that, because they're so strong and they've put big building blocks over the last 4 or 5 years. They've let Arteta manage, they've bought well, they've got a really good nucleus of squad of players, and they can just add that little sprinkling now and again to it and build from what they've done.
Steve, it's great having you on board. We'll jump out for a second. We're live at St James's Park, Newcastle. Stay with us. Gabby, all in all, what kind of advert was that last night for modern football?
Well, everyone was saying the same thing last night, Jim, once we watched the game, didn't we? That, wow, this is boring. Should we put on St Mirren versus Hearts? Because that was an upset, wasn't it? St Mirren getting a late goal.
I actually heard that conversation where we were.
It was so boring, wasn't it? And I was sitting there thinking, I'm lucky. I'm in a bar watching it. I'm not paying a penny. Those fans that are paid to go and watch that, dross. But then I look at it at a sense from Arsenal of why are we going to open up an attack when we don't need to score? Chelsea, the ones that have got to attack us, once they finally did in the last minute, Arsenal run down the other side of the pitch and score.
I think Arsenal would have been surprised that Chelsea didn't go for the jugular earlier. You could see the game plan from Liam Rossini. It was get through the first hour, then bring on some of those subs, the likes of Palmer and Esteval, and then really try and go and win the game. But they didn't really do that when those players were on the pitch.
But
they didn't put enough balls in the box.
One goal away from a Liam Rossini masterclass.
But they never looked like getting that goal. Listen, they could still be playing now, and they wouldn't score.
What frustrated me, Jim, as well, before Arsenal scored, say 3 minutes to go, on that right-hand side there, passing it. I'm like, cross the ball. What are you doing? Come on, guys. Like you're passing it. You're running out of time. Give it away. Arsenal go down the end and score a goal. So frustrating to watch.
It was another bad night for Alejandro Garnacho as well. And I think he's proving why Manchester United was so willing to let him go at the end of last season.
Yeah. Having said that, and you made the point, Gabby, if Chelsea had gone for it and then quickly are 2 down, tie's over.
Of course.
And you'd be hammering them this morning.
Yeah, 100%. But you didn't have to go all-out attack. The formation that I says and the players, Caicedo and Sanchez, Santos, in the middle, defensive-minded midfielders. Cucurella and Gusto, very good defenders. João Pedro can get back and help out, so can Estavo.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to go for it. But was there a need to play the 5? A very strange formation that Chelsea don't often play.
That's easy for pundits to say, though.
Well, punditry is very easy, Crook. Look at us.
Past 12 this Wednesday lunchtime. You're listening to Jim White, Alex Crook, Gabby Agbonlahor and Steve Bruce, and we are live on talkSPORT, coming to you live from St James's Park, Newcastle. All thanks to BetMGM, 18 plus, begambleaware.org, and of course the Premier League Darts Opener is right here in this great city tomorrow night, and two of the boys taking part, Stephen Bunting and Luke Humphreys, are en route to joining us here before we go at 1 o'clock today. I'm delighted about that. Steve Bruce, of course, with us, which takes me on to Manchester United. Steve, we cannot have you live with us this lunchtime without talking about United and where they've got themselves to at this precise time. So Manchester United host Tottenham Hotspur this Saturday at 12:30. It's live in talkSPORT with Michael Carrick looking to make it 4 wins from 4. Michael Carrick, who took over as interim from the previous interim. Is Michael Carrick, in your view, Steve, putting himself right in the frame for the job full time?
Oh, absolutely. And if he keeps winning, he's in pole position for it. And you have to compliment of how well he's done. He's made a big call in the first couple of games with not playing Cunha. So that must have been a difficult conversation. I have to say, Cunha comes off the bench and does remarkably well in the first game, and maybe then thought, am I going to play in the second one? And he doesn't, but comes off the bench and then gets the winner. And that tells me of his management skills. And of course, what he's done now is just give the players maybe a freedom to play in their position, simplified the whole thing, played 2 wide players who Man United always seem to play. It's been a little bit difficult because Dorgu got injured, so that natural left footer on the left side unfortunately missed the last game. He's put himself in pole position, and fair play to him. And I think what's helped him enormously is he knows Man United and what's expected and what the demands are and the intensity of it, because I think a lot of people know it's a huge club, but they get a little bit lost with it when they go in, of the actual size of it and the scrutiny and the spotlight and the demands on you are like no other club there will ever be. So I think Michael has handled it supremely well in all of it.
Do you think Ruben Amorim was very stubborn in a way that he said he would only play one way, playing the 3 centre-halves, when the players Manchester United had, they suited a 4-3-3?
Yeah, I think it was all about, it became in the end, Gabby, didn't it, this raging debate on systems. Listen, players are players and good players are good players, but I think what they need is a little bit of clarity. I've never seen a team win the Premier League playing 3 at the back. I seen Conte did it, and they played a 5. They were a 5 though, weren't they?
Yeah.
So it was difficult. I think we all wanted Amorim to do well. I think we all liked him. We enjoyed him when we thought, can he be something different? And unfortunately, he became embroiled in a situation where it was just formation over results.
Should someone have tapped him on the shoulder sooner? And yeah, maybe even Ferguson from the director's box and said, look, this club doesn't play a back 3. It plays with wingers. It brings young players into the team, because his treatment of Kobbie Mainoo for me was criminal. Could Sir Alex have got involved in that?
Well, look, I in management, I can only go on my experiences in management. And when I was young, I didn't last very long, and 4 clubs were first started. I had 4 clubs in 2 years because I wouldn't listen to anybody. I was stubborn as you like. It wasn't until I bumped into John Benson, God rest his soul, somebody with grey hair, who grabbed me aside one day and said, listen, how about this and that and the other, and just give you a bit of sound advice. And I think any young coach, head coach, always needs somebody with grey hair. Or no hair.
Like me.
Just to give you a little bit of advice.
Yes, yeah.
And somewhere down the line, because I wanted Ruben Amorim to do really, really well. I really, really did, because we'd all seen what he did in Portugal, and we played a certain way in Portugal. But Man U has been always about playing with wide players and a number 10, if you like, and somebody who can get you off your seat.
Yeah.
That's the Man U way.
But Steve,
always will be the way.
Does Carrick need top 4 to get it?
Quite possibly, but the advantage of what he's got at the moment, he's not involved in any cups, which is absolutely a tragedy for Man United. So he can only just concentrate on the league, and every week is week by week, not Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. So he's got an outstanding chance, and the way they keep going, I wouldn't be surprised. Would any of us be surprised if Man U finished in the top 4? None of us would be, because they've got good players at the end of the day.
And that recruitment last summer was decent. You
Very
mentioned Cunha and Mbumo, the keeper. Sheshko's starting to perform now. How far are they away from actually challenging for the title? If they get a couple of midfielders, Belieber, Wharton, Elliot Anderson on their list, could they compete next year? Genuinely?
Well, look, they've always got good players and always have done. What we could say, Crookie, over the years is probably they haven't got recruitment right. There's not been too many who've been, wow. The outstanding one for me is Bruno, and Michael has put him, the best player, in his best position as a number 10. Makes a little bit of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then you've got your best player in his best position, who scores and makes you goals, whose statistics are incredible. So they're not far off. They're not far short. Yeah, absolutely, they're going to be there or thereabouts.
And how important to keep Bruno, because we know there's this release clause, 57 million quid for European clubs in the summer.
Oh, really?
They can't afford to lose him, can they?
No, they can't. No, they can't, because where do you replace these guys? That's the problem. There's not enough. There's not many Bruno Fernandes knocking around, that's for sure. So, man, you never want to let their good players go.
And do you know what I find interesting with recruitment? Manchester City in this window, 2 players in, Gay and Semenyo, tried and tested in the Premier League. You look at United's recruitment last summer, Cunha and Mbumo, proven in the Premier League. I think too often since Fergie left, they've looked overseas, and it's those signings that haven't worked out.
Great point. I think that for a lot of clubs. I think you take a calculated gamble when you go and take somebody else from a different country who haven't played in the Premier League, because most of them take time to adapt to playing in England and playing in the Premier League in particular. It's like no other league. And I think you're right. There's time where you need to recruit from the Premier League, and people who've been there, done it, wore the
Van der
T-shirt.
Beek didn't work, did it?
Yeah. Do you sometimes sit back, Stephen, and scratch your head and think of your Manchester United since Sir Alex retired? Episode after episode has failed. Obviously, you think of Mourinho, you think of Moisey before that, you think of Van Gaal, and now
Mourinho.
the latest victim is Amorim, and you think, how? This is Manchester United.
Well, going back 10 years, I didn't think they gave David Moyes enough time. That was a big mistake. They had people like Mourinho and Van Gaal, And yeah, it's been frustrating for, I suppose, for every Man United manager, every Man United supporter, I suppose. But it's quite incredible, isn't it? It's like Arsenal after Wenger, and how often do we see it?
Yeah, but of all those managers that we're talking about, Jim, Amorim's the worst. 15th in the Premier League. Lost a European final. Should have gone then, shouldn't he? 15th.
Well, I had the debate. I had a raging argument with somebody the other day, a Tottenham fan, who said they were right to get rid of Postecoglou because he won in Europe. He, though, sacrificed the Premier League to win in Europe.
Amorim didn't. He was just rubbish.
Well, I'm not going to say that because I think he was very, very talented, and maybe it was just a bit soon for him, the Man United thing, because you don't do what you did in Portugal without having a bit of talent. But I do believe maybe it was just wrong time, wrong place.
I've seen in front of me quite a number of messages. Arsenal fans really buoyed up this lunchtime, Steve, by what you said earlier on. And what Steve was alluding to was, as and when Arsenal go over the line, it could lead to another Premier League title and maybe another Premier League title after that. And I cannot tell you, I've seen half a dozen or more messages in the last 10, 15 seconds, fans saying, God, I hope he's right. Let's hope he's right. But you firmly believe that one title could lead to another and maybe another for Arsenal. And they could kind of do what United did under Sir Alex, possibly.
All the other big teams are in change. All of them are in change, whether it's managerial change or squad change or whatever. Arsenal aren't. And I believe once they get over the line, it pains me to say it, by the way, but I am very, very impressed of what they've done, and especially the manager who's been there just was he been second three times, has he?
Yes. What do you think of Champions League, though, Steve? Do you think that Barcelona are poor defensively, so around Madrid, Bayern Munich are a good side, but what Arsenal have done?
Well, look, we've got five. We've got five in the top eight, haven't we? In the league.
Yeah.
All of a sudden now it comes to knockout stuff. So that can happen over two legs now. And you're never going to write off a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or a Bayern Munich. But I have to tell you, you wouldn't want Arsenal.
No.
And you wouldn't want Man City.
Okay, well, talking about Arsenal, let's talk about the North London rivals, Tottenham Hotspur. In the news this lunchtime, let me tell you, Daniel Levy reportedly in discussion to sell his 30% stake in the ENIC Sport Group, who own Tottenham Hotspur, for approximately £1 billion. The potential buyers include a consortium with Hong Kong businessman Wing Fai, along with several Asian business tycoons who are providing most of the capital. Billionaire Joe Lewis's family controls just over 70% of ENIC, while Levy and his family, they own the remaining portion. So Levy's selling for $1 billion. Let's find out more on this and get back to the talkSPORT studios to hear from Simon. Simon, what have you got?
What I've got is waiting for Derek Giselle. The nitwit's late, so I was doing him and Deontay Wilder. But what I've managed to do is I had a very brief exchange with Daniel, who was on a flight, just to get some sort of understanding of where he is in it all, so that you can get some degree of from the horse's mouth. And his opinion, these guys don't have the money and are creating noise and publicity. So whether that's a positioning from Daniel about the fact that he wants to call their bluff. I mean, listen, let's be clear. He will sell his shares in ENIC. You know, that's what he'll do if the price is met, and take the opportunities that kind of money will present to him. But by the same token, we've seen the Lewis family, in my view, putting a full court press on Daniel by suggesting things about the way that the business was run. That to me was a direct attack on Daniel's integrity and efficiencies, to be able to perhaps put him in a corner and maybe talk down the price of his shares and make it difficult for him by making battles legally about who said what, when and why. But in this situation, I always think, Jim, and you've heard me say this many times over, the deals that get done are the ones they hear about at the last minute. Now, there's a few exceptions. We know there's a few exceptions that we get to hear it from the beginning, from its gestation to its end product. But most of the time, when it's big deals, or football clubs being sold or major shareholdings being sold, you tend to hear about it just as it's about to be done or when it's done. So in this instance, it looks like people are running around, running their mouths, and don't have the cash to do it. It'll be interesting to see whether the Lewis family ever pony up some money and maybe buy them out themselves. But again, the liquidity issues around that, because this is not small money, Jim. This is big dough. This is big money. And
Yeah,
there's only
absolutely,
few people
Simon.
in the world that can write checks like this.
not done. Confirm that Levy's looking for in the neighbourhood, and it's a very nice neighbourhood, of £1 billion for his 30%.
It's a very respectable neighbourhood, isn't it? But the fact of the matter is that I can't confirm what Daniel isn't looking for, because what Daniel will try to do, like everyone else would do, is get the very best price he can. If someone knocks on your door and wants to buy your house, you don't give them the price that you want or prepared to sell for. You give them a price that you can try and get out of them. So I'm not going to forecast what Daniel will and won't sell his shareholding for. What I can suggest, based upon the brief exchange that I had with Daniel, is that he thinks that these guys maybe don't have the dough and are running around making a nuisance of themselves by creating some noise. Now, that might flush them out. It might be a position that Daniel wants to take by using the media to influence that, but that's where it is. But let's be clear, like everything is for sale. Daniel Levy's shareholding in this business is for sale. He's not going to go back there, is he? He's not going to go back to Spurs. I saw him before Christmas. Obviously, I don't think he feels particularly happy about his treatment. And I spent a lot of time suggesting to me that a lot of people were very complimentary about his tenure at Spurs. And I went through a roll call of people that were very complimentary about him because he did a good job, in my view. May not have won as many things as he could do and should have done, perhaps as Spurs as a football club. But as a person that's built a spaceship that maybe some other captain can fly to the moon, there's a huge amount of potential there.
Okay.
Can I go and do Deontay Wilder now?
No, you can't. We're sitting up in here in Newcastle. Steve Bruce is asking for you.
Is he?
I'm alongside Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. You're waiting for Chisora and Wilder. Are we right?
Where are you, Simon? You should be up here in the northeast. You can kind of get past Watford these days.
I know. I figured to myself, do I want to go up to the north and get a nosebleed? No, I do not. So I stay down here. And what I'll probably get is a nosebleed from Deontay Wilder if I ask some bloody saucy question.
Oh, good luck with him, by the way.
Indeed, have fun. I see Gabby's increasing the tone of the environment up there.
Simon, I've just found out that you actually said that the Saudis wouldn't buy Newcastle, so
Oh, gee,
they did a week later.
Oh, gee, Gabby, nice to see you're current. That was 3.5 years ago, you clown.
Simon, just before you leave us, on the Tottenham Hotspur situation and the Levy situation, Levy reportedly in discussion to sell 30%, which would work out at £1 billion. Is there pressure on Daniel to sell to these people?
No.
From an ENIC perspective?
Well, no. Not necessarily, because ENIC might not want to jump into bed with these guys. I can't speak to that. But Daniel is a shareholder in his own right. There is pressure, I suspect, on Daniel because we've seen the noise. We saw some of the suggestions that they're going to go and review the policies of a guy that they let run the club for 25 years. So they're going to go in there and look at the transfer policy and the economics and how the efficiencies of commercial deals were done. Oh, really? Okay, good enough. That really is about probably denigrating Daniel's reputation and potentially causing him to be put in a corner, legally defending himself and making aggravation value, in my view. But as far as pressure is concerned, I don't know. Maybe Daniel wants £1 billion. Who wouldn't? And maybe he has other ventures to invest in. Maybe he wants another football club. Maybe he wants to get involved with F1. Who knows?
Okay, Simon, good luck with Chisora and Wilder, and we're going to hear from them on the Top Boxing YouTube channel later on today. I'm normally on with Simon between 10 and 1 weekdays on talkSPORT. I'm up here in Newcastle, and in no way am I missing him today. Simon, thank you very much indeed for that. Steve Bruce is alongside Gabby, myself, and Alex Crook. It's a silly question, but I'll ask it anyway, Steve, because I saw one of the listeners asking me to ask you. After everything you've done in the game, would you take on another job?
You can never say never, because look at Martin. Look at Martin. But I don't think so. I really, really don't think so. I think it's time to maybe just do other things. And I've quite enjoyed the media side. But when I hear Martin and see Martin, what he's doing, he's given all the old fogies a
incredible
lift,
isn't it?
hasn't he?
Incredible.
We've all had a little.
He's 74 in March.
Absolutely incredible and
amazing.
Still doing an unbelievable job, and we will not be surprised if they go and win the league, will we?
Steve, thank you so much for the long drive, 5 hours. I know it was a bit tough because there were some hold-ups in the motorway, but you made it. Steve Bruce has been with us live here at St James's Park. Steve, thank you for that. The Darts boys are on the way.
Michael, just on to football. Arsenal now, people are talking about the quadruple. I think it's too much for them, as much as I think they're a special side with a great squad. Is there a chance in your mind that Arsenal could win all four?
No, I don't think so. I think you're right, Al, that they are special. They're a very strong side. They're very efficient. It looks like they're going to stroll the league, really. I don't think there's anybody good enough to compete with them this season, even though I don't think the points total is going to be that good. I just don't think. I think the only two teams that could have beat them at the start of the season, Liverpool and Manchester City, are obviously faltering. So I think Arsenal certainly will have won it, but they've been semi-handed it as well. I don't think nobody's really put much pressure on them. So I think the league is obviously nearly wrapped up. I think, they could win the Carabao Cup. Absolutely, they could. And then the other two are going to be tough.
Yeah.
Absolutely tough. I mean, everybody's going to, all the other teams are going to be focusing on the FA Cup even more now because the league is almost over. It's going to salvage their season. So they'll be putting strong teams out, a lot of their competitors. And then the Champions League, that could be anybody's. That's really open this year.
I agree. Definitely.
Mike, I'm going to ask you, mate, where are you at this moment in time with centre forwards? We'll look at Haaland, probably out and out centre forward. Yourself out and out centre forward. Shearer out and out centre forward. Are we kind of drifting away from that at this moment in time? I'm thinking of boys like Ekitike, Salah's goal return's unbelievable. Are we seeing just as many out and out Drogba's number 9s like that?
Oh, there's a huge dearth in centre forward.
Newcastle and Man City can score, they can concede, they can entertain, and they care about the Carabao Cup. Don't take your ears off this one.
Inside the penalty area, Turkey fires it in. It's Newcastle 0, Manchester City 2.
It's not as bad as sometimes the noise on social media can make out. And yes, coming on the back of a 4-1 defeat at Liverpool.
To start winning games, we have to start having the mindset we can beat anybody. And I believe that it's in there. I do believe that we can.
Tottenham 2, Manchester City 2. And from 2-0 down, somehow Spurs back on level terms.
The way that they capitulated in the second half, they didn't look like champions.
Now we have a semi-final to reach a final next Wednesday and continue. This is what they have to do.
And we're coming to you live this Wednesday lunchtime from St James's Park, Newcastle. Newcastle, as you heard, they're heading to the Etihad tonight. They go in against Pep's Manchester City, 2 down in the semi-final stage of the Carabao Cup. But of course, 90 minutes ahead to turn it around if they can do that. They feel they'll give it everything and they feel they can do it. We shall see what happens. It is live on talkSPORT. 2 down from the first leg. Newcastle go in again against Manchester City tonight. We're live, of course, in Newcastle because we're coming to you courtesy of BetMGM. BetMGM Premier League Darts is back for a new season tomorrow with Newcastle right here in this city hosting the first night, the opening night of what is a long and grueling 17-week schedule in venues across the UK, Ireland and Europe. And two of the top players are joining Alex Crook and myself this lunchtime. Ladies and gentlemen, delighted that Luke Humphreys and Stephen Bunting has joined us live here in studio. Come on, studio, how about a good welcome for these lads? Yes, indeed. And they deserve a round of applause. Luke, I haven't seen you since Cardiff, mate. You and I did a chat down there, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. How do you feel about life on the road as a top darts player? And you are one of the top players, if not the top.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's busy. You know, as you just said, it's 17 grueling weeks where it's not just Premier League. There is tournaments in between as well that we have to play. So it is busy, but it's fun as well. You know, it's enjoyable going to all these different places in the UK, Europe, and, you know, we go to Ireland and just to get to experience some great crowds. This is definitely one of the best ones of the calendar.
Is he the man to beat, Stephen?
He's definitely one of them. Obviously, he's one of the best players in the world. He's a really nice lad as well, so we get on really well, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
On and off the hockey. But yeah, he's definitely one of the ones to beat.
Yeah.
What's that like? What's that like being on tour? Are you all big mates? Is there any sort of rivalry between you when you're not on the hockey?
Yeah, we do have certain rivalries. Obviously, we sit in little packs, don't we? To be honest, we see each other more than we see our families. It's so busy on tour these days, and yeah, if we're not playing in a tournament, we're away at an exhibition or trying to get as much family time as we possibly can. But yeah, it's a grueling schedule, but the prize money is unbelievable, and the sport's only going from strength to strength.
It sure is. It's marvellous what darts has become. You don't need me to tell you that. Is there pressure on you, Luke, going into this as defending champion, because you're there to be knocked off the perch, aren't you?
Yeah, of course, there's always pressure on you when you're the defending champion of any tournament. You know, I think the pressure's always going to be on Luke Littler more than anybody because he's winning all the time and he's expected to keep winning. And if he doesn't win, then it's a surprise nowadays. So obviously I ran him close on Sunday in the Masters. And he knows that, you know, there's other players now playing pretty well. You know, Gern Price is playing good and Gian's testing him. So, you know, Luke Littler's definitely the man to beat. But, of course, I'm the reigning champion. So, yeah, he's going to want to take that off my hands, and I'm going to do everything I can to...
Let me pick you up on that. You declared after Sunday's Nara defeat to him in the Masters final, the Winmau Masters final, Luke Littler, the greatest darts player that's ever lived. Is he?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to backtrack on that. I think what I mean to have said maybe he's the most talented dart player ever. You know, I still think that maybe, you know, the argument would still stand with maybe Phil is the greatest, of course, of what he achieved. But I just think natural, raw talent that he's got, I think that is, to me, what would say is the greatest dart player ever. And, you know, it's just the way he doesn't ever fold under pressure. He's always so great. And, yeah, I mean, it's hard to sit here and backtrack and say, oh, no, Phil. So Phil is one of the greatest, of course. But I just think with his talent, yeah, he's the most talented dart player.
Because I found it a bit curious, Luke, because you're great rivals. And yet you're saying... he's the greatest guy of the lot. He's the greatest player of the lot.
Of course, but that doesn't mean I can't beat him, you know, or I won't beat him, or I won't challenge him. But, you know, like I said, he is the most talented dart player in the world. I think it's obvious. Me saying it was kind of just stating the obvious, really. But that doesn't take anything away from myself thinking I'm just going to, you know, lose every game I play against him. I ran him close on Sunday, and, you know, he's still there to be beaten. I can beat him. I've beaten him in many major finals before. So, yeah, as much as I was giving him a great compliment, that wasn't me backing down saying, you know, I'm just going to give you the wins every time. I'm still up for, you know, trying to test him every week.
Who do you boys think would win if we could get a time machine and we could get Taylor at the peak of his powers against Littler as he is now?
Personally, I'd have to say Phil. I think Phil was he had everything. He put the dedication in. He'd practice a lot of hours, and Phil did it with different shaped darts. He done it with the fat stumpy ones. He done it with the big thin ones. So he did it with every single set of darts he's used. So I think just longevity, what Phil did for our sport, 16-time world champion, I think he'd just edge it.
And in terms of Littler, we did see at the Worlds where maybe the crowd went a bit overboard. They booed him. Obviously, he reacted to that in his interview afterwards. What did you make of that? Why is he not perhaps as loved by those fans as, say, Phil Taylor?
It's the same scenario for myself. When I was world champion, world number one, I was getting booed every time I come out. I think that it's just an English thing, isn't it? You kind of want to break down the person that's dominating, and you know, for me, I think that he's achieved so much and he's winning all the time that people maybe get a little bit bored of it, and they just want someone else to win, so they're trying desperately to try and maybe put him off a little bit. And yeah, we've seen it at the Masters. You know, before he comes on, he gets booed, but then when the song comes on, everything's great. So yeah, I think it's just a little bit of pantomime thing that the crowd seem to like to do. You know, if you're at the top of the game, then sometimes people just want to pull you down a little bit.
You got a bit of backlash, did you not, Stephen? On social media, you called yourself the people's champion. Did you crown yourself that? Did you say, I'm the people's champion?
No. What actually happened was, obviously ITV, Sky and all these production companies put me out there as the people's champion. There was VTs everywhere saying I was the people's champion. So I just jumped off the back of that. And everyone seems to think I proclaimed myself the people's champion, which wasn't the case. So, yeah, I took a lot of stick. I've pulled away a bit from social media. And, yeah, I need to stop looking at that and concentrate more on the dartboard.
But that was unfair on you, mate, because you strike me as a very humble guy. Social media can be an absolute cesspit, and you can get caught up in it quite unwittingly.
Yeah, of course. And, yeah, maybe I was a bit naive in the statement I put out. But, yeah, I think I've handled it really well after that. Evidence is I'm in the Premier League. I'm in the top league in the world of darts. I'm still number 7 in the world, and my fans are still there, still buying me merchandise and still supporting me. So I still feel loved on social media, and in the venues we go to, they still chant my name. So yeah, I still feel loved, and I'll just try and keep giving back to them.
You talk about some of the venues you go to, the countries you go to. Darts in Saudi Arabia. Luke, did it work? No alcohol?
I mean, I said it before, alcohol doesn't need to provide a good time. You know, you can have a good time without it.
It helps in the darts, though, doesn't it?
Was the atmosphere there that
comes from.
was missing that we usually get? Probably, yeah. I think some of us players, we thrive on atmosphere. We thrive on the crowd, you know, buzzing, and you get a buzz from it. You know, like for me, that was the only thing missing, and I don't see that ever changing. You know, I don't see in 5 years' time that all of a sudden the crowds in Saudi are going to be going mad and stuff like that. I think it's more of a respectful culture where they sit and just enjoy the sport that they're watching, rather than, you know, jumping out of their chairs and stuff like that. And you know, if the English fans were ever going to go there, 6.5 hours away, you know, there's so many tournaments they can go to in the UK that they're not going to get people travelling there. So for me, you know, I think that's just going to be a tournament that's going to please the Middle East more than the UK fans.
It shows the reach of the sport, though, Stephen. I mean, when you first get into this and you realise, hang about, I'm pretty good at this, and you've stayed with it, and now you're a top player, could you have imagined the reach this sport has now got?
Never in my wildest dreams. Obviously going to countries like Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, New York, playing in special venues. I never thought it would happen in my lifetime, but to be able to do that now, the last 2 years more than ever, and hopefully I want a lot more of it. So I need to keep on the practice board and keep myself playing at the top level.
You start in Newcastle tomorrow. I'd imagine the atmosphere is going to be raucous, to say the least. You've got 17 venues over the next few weeks. Do you have a favourite arena?
Yeah, mine's Leeds, just because I'm a Leeds fan, so I get the best support there. And but take that aside, take away that sort of feeling, Dublin is the best. Yeah, it's the most unreal atmosphere. It's so loud. And they are just the best fans I've ever experienced. So for me, Dublin is the utmost best atmosphere.
You're bound to say Liverpool, Stephen, aren't you?
No, I'm actually going to say Berlin. I really enjoyed going to Germany last year. The fans in Germany are unbelievable.
You have a massive following.
Yeah, I've got a great following in Germany. That may be because I do Christmas messages in German. That take me about 10 hours to record. But yeah, I've got a special fan base over in Germany.
Bunting. Happy Christmas to you all in Germany. I need to watch for that.
Yeah. Oh no, it's.
So you do it in German, don't you?
Yeah, I do it in German. So it takes a lot of studying because I can't speak a word of German, to be honest. I can only just speak English.
Brilliant. Now this man's a Leeds United fan, and you're a Liverpool fan. Are you with the Arne Slot army? Are you with Slot? Is he the man?
I don't know whether he's the man or not. Obviously, there's Xabi Alonso out there, Stevie.
He won the league last year.
Yeah, I know. But it's been so hard to watch this season. I know we've got injuries and stuff, but obviously we've just bought a £60 million defender in, so they're backing him in the transfer market. I know he's not coming in till summer, but yeah, hopefully he can turn things round. If we get top 4, I think it'll be a bit of a successful season considering the way it's gone, and yeah, push on to the Champions League and see what we can do in that.
Let's finish with this then, Luke Humphreys. And I remember from Cardiff, you ask you a question, you'll give me an answer, which I like a lot. What would you rather have? What would you rather have in future weeks? You win the BetMGM Premier League darts trophy again, which is right here in front of us, or Leeds United survive relegation?
It's a tough question, but I'm going to go with winning.
Bye Leeds.
Yeah.
Where's Matt Gibson when you need him? Did you hear that about your Leeds? He went for the trophy again. I know, you can't believe it. Matt's run out in tears.
You ask the Leeds United players what they'd prefer. If they'd rather stay up or me win that, I'm sure they'd say stay up in the Premier League. So you got to be selfish.
Brilliant. Luke, great to see you again, mate.
Thank you very much.
And Stephen, lovely to meet you. You're both great adverts for this great sport that you represent. Well done, BetMGM, getting behind it. Not for the first time. Stephen, good luck as well as you go into this. Luke, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Crook and I are just out of time. We're bowling up to 1 o'clock this Thursday lunchtime from St James's Park. Months since you joined the football club, David. How do you reflect on what you've seen so far and the club's current position thus far?
Well, I'm thrilled to be here. You know, I